Let the bass kick.
My darling.
I don't know anything else. That's all I got.
Just went straight up.
Taking mine.
Oh, there you go. Somebody else supposed to take it. Sometimes you gotta know where you can't go. That's what it is. You have to know where you can't go.
Yeah, that's why I did not.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight.
Are you feeling like...
In the jungle,
right,
the
here it comes.
mighty
Are you feeling
Here it
jungle,
comes.
the lion
Will he go there?
sleeps tonight. We
See right there?
You're coming on flat.
Where
Bring
you
it up.
can't go.
we
He knew where he couldn't go. Nobody can go there.
Does anybody want to risk sounding like a 13-year-old
You're
boy?
like 3 octaves away from where you need to be.
Right.
I can do it.
Cover the ear. Cover the ear.
Oh, yeah, the one. See,
We
Will's
are
got
the
it.
world.
Yeah.
Will can do it.
Whoa. Will, bring
are
that
That was
back,
a very
please.
nice two-part harmony we just had for a second there.
Bring that
I know,
back,
right?
Will. That was...
I
that
thought we were
was-
going to loop that in, and then I was going to start singing, and I was going to do all 10 parts.
You're so wrong.
There's 10 parts to that? He said you were so wrong.
I try.
Mark Ribba, yay.
Hey, look how my shirt looks. It's like,
We're back
And
in the dadgum Sapphire Lounge. Welcome back, guys. This feels nice. It feels right.
I guess we're going.
I got my chair. I've not moved 1 inch.
You know how hard that is to do with
I'm getting
chapstick?
tired of that already.
Big time.
I'm out
It's
of breath.
incredibly hard to do with chapstick. I was like,
Oh,
My lips are chapped.
My whips have tapped. We just played some fun, wet snow, mud golf out at Trace Creek. That was fun.
Really?
What?
anybody still feel their toes?
How was it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Muddy, slick.
Muddy slick.
I
Dr.
fell.
Hoy fell right on his butt
I fell.
at one point.
Let me
Did
guess.
anybody
I
actually see
fell,
it?
and I'm like, just it knocked the breath out of you, but just
I
get up
felt
and
it.
say you're okay. I was like, I'm okay. I basically landed on my bag, on my butt,
On his butt.
and
On his
now
back.
my pride and
Has little
my
tuckers.
ego is bruised.
His face was one person before, and his face after was a whole nother person. I was like, oh,
I
boys.
jumped up, I'm okay.
I'm fine. Stop asking me.
Yeah.
See, you guys are
He was
avoiding.
getting a little irritated
You
with our
guys
concern.
are avoiding
over
the real question here.
We just love you. That's
Did
all.
you make a snow angel?
No, we did
No,
not.
no,
we
I
did
made
You're
a-
already down, bro.
Snow
He's
butt.
If you're
No,
already
he was
down on the
he was
ground.
in the
Yeah.
shul, bro. There was
Yeah.
there was
Is the
some-
advisory up?
A shul angel?
yes, just in
Okay.
case.
No snow,
Yeah, sure.
snowman, snow dicks. Whatever.
Welcome back, you guys. We have been on a hiatus since just before Music City opened, by necessity, and
It was just a couple weeks ago.
it was just a couple weeks,
Finished
months,
It was a Mando.
probably
Mando.
mandatory
Ooh.
break.
Yep.
Yep, it was.
Are we going to talk about new Mando
We
rules?
are going to talk.
We're going to talk a lot about shit.
I didn't put that in the scrolling text, but yes, we are going to talk about that. Speaking of which, there is scrolling text. I can go ahead.
Yeah, let me go ahead and bring those Mando
Sweet.
rules
I'm
up.
We're
gonna.
going to do intros since we're
I'm gonna
we're
talk
kinda
about-
rolling a whole
if
new
you are
thing
just
out.
joining us and you have no idea who we are, my name is Will.
My name is Marcus.
I'm Jay.
I'm Dr. Hoy, and I'm listening.
And I'm Justin.
And we are the Last Cast Podcast. That's Justin.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Last Cast Podcast.
So
Yeah, you did it
we
right.
are tournament
He's
directors.
been down in the basement drinking coffee for hours.
Radio voice. Here we go.
I'm excited to be here, guys.
We're all disc golf tournament directors,
it.
disc golf promoters in the Nashville, Tennessee area.
I'm current.
Yeah, I just
current?
got recertified. Yeah,
Oh,
Me too.
I was going to ask you.
all current
Mike
it
Lane
up,
Classic.
buddy. And you better be, because one of the things we're going to talk about tonight is the changes to the rules and the competition manual. And man, the eligibility to play in a PDGA event is changing, kind of as we all kind of
tightening
expected
up.
it would.
Tighten up.
You must now be PDGA current to compete in a B tier or above, and even at a
Whoa.
C tier.
Yeah.
If you have never been a member of the PDGA and you do not have a PDGA number, you cannot accept cash in a pro division at a C tier. and you cannot accept merchandise in lieu of cash payout. Your payout, you basically just get removed in terms of payout.
Yeah. Golf snaps.
So get
it's
current.
About time.
Join the PDGA.
Well,
it's true.
We'll talk about more about that later.
That coming up next.
Coming up soon. Breaking news. No, but there's been a lot going on. We ran the Music City Open, the 2021 National Tour finale, and the National Tour finale.
Finale
of
tornado.
It was like, this is actually the season finale and the series finale, like
at
TV
the same
shows.
time, yeah.
I don't think many of the players understood that, like it was the end.
At least half of them did not know the difference between an NT.
It had
and
a big
Pro
feel
Tour.
to it.
Yeah.
When we had all the
Tornado at disc
spectators,
golf.
the spectators there on Saturday and Sunday at Mill Ridge, that was big feels.
Big feels.
Who felt
Thousands.
Did you have?
Who felt?
No,
feel?
Jay was having big
They
feels.
were feelings?
He told me.
Feelings and feels.
Feels.
Yeah, it was like a disc golf whirlwind.
I saw Alpo. He had a little twinkle in his eye.
How long?
Yeah.
How long has it been since the last podcast where we covered anything like an actual time amount? Because the world of disc golf has
October,
changed
November,
overnight.
December.
The last
September.
episode that was recorded was the one that was just me and Wiley in here fucking messing around. Oh, I already did it. I already dropped the F-bomb. I did put
earlier,
profanity.
so-
I put a profanity alert up
ready.
just in case. Okay, but anyway, sorry. If your kids are watching,
Tell them to go to bed.
We cause a little bit on this.
Yeah.
it might happen. We're going to get. It's a good time for a disclaimer. This is just like an open discussion platform here, so we might get in the weeds and say some things that
Our
we
opinions.
are rarely serious. Like we're very
Yeah.
sarcastic. We joke a lot. This is just general discussion, hypothetical stuff, and
Yeah.
a lot of amateur humor.
3 hours.
Don't get
Oh,
mad
dude,
at us.
this is 1,000 rated humor.
1,000
Don't
rated.
don't you dare.
Yeah,
If you get bombarded by questions by me, I'm not angry. I'm just curious.
just curious, and I'm trying to get you to answer without me saying what I'm saying.
Just curious.
Just
Ooh, that was
Hey,
good.
we can break this.
That was
break our podcast up into 3 ways, like called the tee off, the upshot, and the putt.
The tee off, the upshot, and the
I got a rangefinder.
you
Like,
do.
and we'll take like 2 breaks in between. Between the.
how long are
Yeah.
we trying to make this
don't need
podcast?
one,
I know.
man?
Right?
Yeah,
I'm just happy to be back. I'm just happy to be back.
We already go
Yeah.
we've gone like 3 hours sometimes.
That fair way of spelling.
And we will,
I can
and it'll
read
just
that
be
fair
noise
way,
if we
dude.
all talk.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody ever listens that long, but if you do, props.
If you're
bro.
still listening after 10 minutes, thank you. We appreciate it.
Congratulations. You're friends for life.
Yeah.
yeah, we
Yeah.
would do this anyway if you didn't listen. But thank you to everybody who does, because I think that's boss.
Yeah, and to everybody that's hit me up and sent me a message and asked like when we're going to have another episode, or has shown support for the idea that we would be coming back to do another episode. Thank you. Yeah, we're very glad that you guys enjoy the show.
Yeah.
It's fun for us to do. If we were joking the other day, if a podcast is what we have to do to get all of us together to just talk about
Yeah.
disc golf, then
Yeah,
like it's worth it.
Yeah.
For sure. But
It's not
yeah,
all you had to do, but it helps.
it helps.
Yeah.
It is
Regular
hard to get
schedule.
it all out.
I was told there'd be
you know.
bugles.
Yeah,
There
Wait,
were
already
Eagles, and there were, and
none.
Gatorades.
Yeah. Haterade.
But yeah, there's been a lot going on. We did the Music City Open, then we went immediately. I had the Halloween at Dogwood and the Bell Witch Open, so that was right on the back end of that, and that was
Yep.
fun.
Yep.
And then what have you guys been up to? Jay, congratulations, just had a new baby boy.
Golf snaps.
Thank you, fella.
Stockton,
I did.
golf snaps to Jay.
Boy and a girl. How lucky is that?
Yeah, family's growing.
Yeah, little Stockton James,
Nice.
but crazy, just like Adeline, jaundice. So back and forth to the hospital. So it's kind of the same experience, but with a lot less stress.
Well, what a name like Stockton. He's got to be tough. So.
Well, you know,
Where does
I
that
mean,
name come from?
I was just about to get it to tell you. If you don't know,
That was a plant.
I was a basketball player. Actually, toot my own horn for a second. Was good enough to earn a scholarship to a small college to play basketball. So, but I'm a decent shot, a decent shot, if you will.
I thought you. Okay, sorry.
And so anyway, my favorite player, because obviously he's a shorter fella in the NBA, and I'm only about the same height. So John Stockton in the NBA was my idol. And randomly one day, just goofing with Ashley, I was like, "What do you think about Stockton James?" And she was like, "I love it. That's it." And I was like, "Holy crap! No way was that easy." Like
You had to throw out a lot of other ones before you're like, all right, don't throw this out yet.
No.
Okay, right now, can we decide what we're having for dinner while the iron's hot?
and we're rolling.
Very differently. We had a list of names and stuff for Adeline. It was like just chit chatting about it. The second kid, it's very true. Like the first one, you are very diligent and it'll break, and all the second one, it's like we were just bullshitting one night and throwing out names and stuff. And James is a family name on my dad's side and my mom's side, and so that worked out well. And then Stockton, I was like, just because it's kind of unique, she liked it and cool with me.
Yeah, that's dope.
But he arrived I'm gonna get in trouble. The 30th.
I don't even know my kid's birthday.
Okay, so
He's still pretty young.
When you go,
I know, right?
Brand new kid. I'm still saying it's 2021 whenever I fill out my time reports at work and stuff. So
I felt like this. I felt like the end of my year went MJ's birthday, Adeline's birthday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Stockton, New Year's. Just that's all I can remember of it. That's how fast and of a whirlwind it was because there's so much going on the hills of MCO and of everything that was the MCO this year. So, to think I had to actually think about dates to remember what day was it?
And the planning for MCO 2022 bleeds into that too. It keeps going.
And the more kids you have, the harder it gets. I can tell you.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
barring anything, barley.
The bearing straight.
Kim Chekhov.
Thanks, Arkansas.
What?
Barring any craziness,
Pineapple?
we are finished. That will be the end. And like I said, to have a boy and a girl is pretty lucky. So
Yep.
And she's happy. We have Carter, who is my stepson, and so our little family is a little complete. We think and feel so.
Nice.
Good job.
So it's no more. Hopefully,
So happy holidays indeed.
yes.
Yes.
But enough about me, guys. Gosh,
Yeah.
what have you been up to?
Well,
We're sorry. You want to go first, Dr. Roy?
Simultaneously,
We better go one at a time.
yeah.
simultaneously, you were like both of you.
Well,
Let's get into this.
One thing I did learn was how to make cinnamon rolls over Christmas.
Ooh.
Wait, like from scratch or from the
scratch,
Pillsbury can?
from scratch.
Okay.
And
What?
I initially
How did you mention that and not bring any? You
I
brought
know,
zero
that's
cinnamon
unfair.
rolls.
well,
That's the show and
actually
tell,
on
bro.
Christmas Day I made some, but I didn't understand the dough did not rise properly, and they were very dense and very small.
Did you forget
And we were all
the,
kind of eating them
yeast?
like, oh, these are pretty good. These are pretty good, but everybody's like, this kind of tastes weird. And then so the next day, 2 days later, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try this again, make the dough again, let it rise. And that time I was like, because you gotta wait so long and then let it rise, and then it was actually looking correct.
Like, are we
So,
talking Cinnabon quality?
Yeah.
better than Cinnabon,
Okay,
son?
okay.
He said, son,
I mean,
let me tell you about these cinnamon
I
rolls,
said if they
bro.
were better than Cinnabon, you would have brought some.
Wait a
I'm
second.
just saying.
Yeah, that would be.
Cinnabon's pretty good.
I don't know, man.
I don't know, man. I'm a pretty big
It's-
fan of the ones that
I
come
like
out of the
homemade.
can.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you just put icing.
But now I know how to
care
make
what
the
none of y'all
same
say
icing.
right now. You can't talk about cinnamon rolls, cinnamon buns without talking about Mrs. Winters. Okay, Miss Winters had the best cinnamon rolls in the world,
This is fucking winners.
dude. Like hands
See,
down.
I grew
miss
up,
you. I miss
I
you.
never
Here's
got.
the thing.
I grew up in
Here's the
rural
thing.
West Virginia. I never
the
got
thing.
Mrs. Winters.
Where was it? You grew up? Where did you grow up?
I know, right?
Where else
Let's
did
not
I
go
grow
anywhere
up?
else. Yeah. Here's the thing. It has to be crispy on top,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and the icing's got to like take that away.
yeah.
That makes the best one.
That's
It
I
can't
made
be
double the
freaking
icing
crispy on top.
because of that. I painted the icing on.
I know the
See, I
formula.
painted it, yeah.
I'm gonna make
This
some.
is
You're
some.
talking to somebody.
These are
Just like Mom
connoisseurs.
used to make.
These are connoisseurs of the cinnamon roll right here.
I have
Apparently.
put
The roll of
Pillsbury.
I've been
I
known to
put
eat some.
Pillsbury
I like
rollout cinnamon rolls into a was it waffle maker?
What in the fuck?
What?
What is going on now?
Yeah, straight
Waffle
up.
maker.
Yeah, put them into a waffle maker.
Damn.
I know, right?
Waffle maker.
You know, smash down waffle. You know, Waffle House. You
I
know?
get. I know. Yeah. I'm
Oh,
just
yeah.
in my head. I'm like,
Dude, go
Okay.
to Kroger, Publix if you like. You know, get the little Pillsbury, the rollout one, and take that motherfucker.
syrup or frosting afterwards.
Frosting. Man. It comes with the frosting. It's
Bro,
already
what?
there.
Are
Is it
you
a waffle?
If you're allowed to do
God,
both,
hit it
I'd be
with the
willing to give it a
frosting,
try.
man.
How about both?
Oh,
Both.
I also cooked bacon today, so
Damn.
Did you
know
learn
what?
that this weekend
You
too?
can throw that
Or
in the
this
waffle
over
maker,
Christmas
too.
break? Dude, okay, so straight up, if you
it was a busy off season for me.
And with that, throw some.
That's all I got.
Throw some bacon in a pan. Get it right before it starts to crisp up. Wrap it in your cinnamon roll and throw those in the oven with the cinnamon rolls.
That is pure heaven, bro.
That does sound delightful.
Man,
That does sound delightful.
I gotta
is.
learn these
It is
Arkansas
fire.
ways.
Yeah.
That wasn't an Arkansas way. That was totally an internet grab. We just saw it. I was like, we got to do that.
That's
Nice.
like
But-
Pinterest or something. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Not
Oh, yeah.
Pinterest, not me.
Well-
it wasn't me.
I have a wife, bro.
Jeremy Laser, that was you. Just so you know.
Jeremy Laser likes Pinterest. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Yep.
Thanks, Ramy.
Randy.
Yeah. But anyway, so now that you've heard of that, delightful.
So that was my off season.
Cinnamon rolls and bacon this morning.
I'm proud of you for stepping outside and learning something new.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
And now I'm hungry.
I learned how to
Yeah.
build a trampoline too. I forgot about that.
Hey,
that was interesting.
I remind myself that I'm getting old. I think I'll be 40 here coming up soon.
Why do you remind yourself of this?
Oh.
Because
Big 4-0.
I've been working, and
Yeah, you have
working
been,
makes
bro.
you tired. And
Yeah,
you
you
know
have been.
what's really cool? I'm gonna tell you guys about getting old. It's like massages are better and better. And I've told you all this before. Go to Planet Fitness.
All right. You
The
got-
massage.
Get the
Yeah.
black membership.
The black
You
membership.
You can get a massage.
Why's it gotta be a race thing?
Because
Right.
that's what
Can
they
we do
call
that?
it. You just take it up with them. Hey, I'm right behind you, bro. What the hell? I mean, sometimes black makes things better. Black Angus beef.
Yeah.
Hey, it's better.
He's got a point.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Sometimes
black
black makes things
MasterCard.
worse. You know, it's like you
Yeah.
get a white hoodie. Hey,
Black
black
MasterCard.
hoodie. Oh.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
that is
But go to Planet Fitness and get the black parentheses black membership card.
Parentheses.
You can get a massage at their water little chairs anywhere in Nashville. Anywhere in Nashville. So
Yeah.
wherever you are, you know, I'm like, oh man, I need a. Oh, there's one right here. Oh, guys, give me 7 minutes.
Yeah.
they don't let
I'll
me
be back.
gym
Give me
gym
7 minutes,
intimidate
I only
people
need
though,
2.
so I can't go there. I like to,
7
I like to
minutes in
intimidate
heaven.
people.
Oh,
Yeah.
buddy. Well,
And sometimes you can work out.
And he said sometimes. So what about? Tell me more about these amenities.
You managed to play 2 rounds of disc golf
Yeah.
in 1 week, and you call those workouts.
Yeah.
Whoa! Those are definitely workouts depending on courses. Like depending on the course you're playing.
Yeah.
Not
But
today's
Will-
course, but
Dixon.
yo,
What did
that's
you
a
get
workout.
into, Will?
I grew my beard nonstop until earlier today. Didn't even trim the neck hair, so I worked real hard on that. But then, you know, other than that, sleeping, playing video games, not really much.
I mean, you should just
You
grow
got
that one day
great.
and, like,
You got a good clean line.
donate it to the homeless.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
Donate it to the.
I
home.
donated it to my sink. Unfortunately, I'm probably
Oh.
going to have to clean it out later.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, the off season has been crazy. Watching with bated breath all the sponsorship changes and stuff. I've been getting my ducks in a row. I've made some announcements on Facebook recently. I'll be taking over the old RV that J Ray has been driving for the last decade or so.
Does it have a name?
Not, yes, no?
We're not going to really talk about that just yet.
You just got to earn its
The
new
RV,
name.
though.
It's too early to say. I don't even have it here yet.
I was gonna say.
I was actually, we were supposed to be doing this Thursday night, and I was supposed to be in Memphis this weekend. Oh, for reference, it is Saturday, January 8th. But yeah, I was going to be in Memphis this weekend with J Ray doing some work on the RVs and the inventory and stuff, and then Snowmageddon 2022 happened.
Snowmageddon for sure.
So everything's kind of get pushed back a week. But yeah, I am going to be making some exclusive announcements tonight on the podcast about some upcoming events that I'll be running off the RV. So we'll talk some more about that. I got a lot of stuff. I got a really full schedule. Since I made that post just the other day with some of the events that I have on the calendar, I've had some requests for events. So I haven't sent this yet to you. And for everybody, also, Justin is coming along with me on this adventure, and he's going to be my wingman and assistant. I'm going to teach him my TD Kung Fu.
Golf
And,
snaps.
Yep. Golf
Words of
snaps to
advice:
Justin.
don't pee on his bed.
Do not pee on, especially while I'm sleeping in it. I don't know if did we ever tell that
I
story
don't
on
know
the
if I can
podcast?
resist that.
It's
No,
not
not
going to
today.
be told on the
No, it's
podcast.
not today. Not
All I'm
today.
saying is
Ask
just don't
Jay if
pee
you
on the
see him in
bed.
real life.
Not
I don't
today.
know if I
IRL.
can resist.
Wait. I've
Now
known
that
Will
it's
for a
put out
long
there, I don't know
time.
if I can.
Not
And he's
today.
and Will knows a
Not
lot of
today.
people, and I know a lot of people. So
Jay, why
just
don't you
to
bring it
say
up?
that, like, I don't pee on his bed doesn't imply that, like, I did so. It could imply that I know about a time that a bunch of other people did.
I mean,
That's fair.
Hey, look.
You know what I mean?
I'm gonna change-
not a bunch of other
that
people.
was a pretty wordy
I'm gonna keep it on
way
the
to say
same,
that
but I'm
you
gonna
did.
change it just a little bit. Hey, Jay, You just had a son.
Yeah.
You just had a son. Take it for somebody who has a 3-year-old. You're going to get another golden shower here soon, okay?
Yeah, you're on your way.
I'll take. In
You're
fact,
getting golden showers. It's coming.
I will do an hour on the Tower of Power if I get a golden shower.
What?
I don't know what just happened, but your son's going to pee on you.
Oh yeah, they make. Oh, dude, bro, straight up, they make teepees for that. A product for that.
Yeah.
Blown,
for your
mind, mind blown. I'm like, what are these little things?
He's
What
going
are
to know
these
when it's not on there. He's going to get you.
TP.
And is it?
You get 3 years.
You have a
bro.
boy. This is new to me. Is it just like this age kids walk around with hard-ons all the time? Because every time we change them, straight up.
Yes, that is common for new babies.
But that's how you know when they got pee.
Am I right?
Dude, the same way with a male dog.
Well, before we get too ahead of ourselves, there was a little. there was a little thing.
I was waiting for it.
There was male dog.
There was a little thing that nearly slipped by us there, and I think, and if I'm not mistaken, are you two not eligible to play Masters this year?
Oh,
me?
No, Marcus and Dr. Hoy.
Yeah,
I'm 32, dude.
32.
Dude, he is.
Yes.
Okay, I was born in
you're
1982. I will be turning 40 this year on June 9th. 69.
Is that before the cutoff date?
I'm so excited for you guys just to be able to get to play Masters because that's
I'm
when
playing
you're allowed.
MPO, bro.
Yeah,
Dude, that's when the fun begins, bro.
I got unfinished business in MPO.
All right.
That's true.
I got unfinished business in MPO.
Oh,
How long?
dogs?
Yeah.
How long do we
Logan Bowers.
stick with that
Yeah.
until the unfinished business is?
Damn.
You know,
Yeah.
Never have you
Never
had
finished.
Never have you had the choice to play MPO or MP40. I love it. I love
I
it.
can actually play MP40 this year.
MB.
but
Do you
I
think-
gotta be an MPO because I'm trying to.
Dude, believe me. When you play MP40, the conversations are so much funnier.
I mean, the talent's still there.
I'm sure.
I'm not saying
And talent's
I'm
there.
not saying I'm like
It's
I'm not ready to go to
relaxed.
But
MP40
it's
yet
like
'cause they're
dad.
still
It's
gonna
like dad
beat my
jokes
ass.
to extreme. Like playing with Jeff.
Yeah.
You know,
The people I typically play with frequently are of that age group, the seasoned variety.
Of that
Right.
ilk.
Yep.
I love playing
it's the most
with
fun.
the older,
Yeah, for
with the guys that have been around the lower.
I can't wait to play
PDGA
against
numbers.
Farm Fresh for some reason. Like,
Oh, dude, Farm
Fresh.
Fresh.
Roll Tide.
I'll play with Farm
Griffin.
Fresh
It's
any
coming up
day.
Monday.
should I feel bad if I take Roberts Zavala's? What was he? He was
MA40 though.
No, don't feel
MA40.
bad.
May 40.
So
You only feel bad because
gotta-
you like
Oh,
it.
thanks, Robert. Whew.
yeah.
Man,
Isn't that
I was
hard,
really
though?
hoping I wouldn't have to take it
MP40
from him.
winner
Yeah.
was Rodney. No, who was?
Castellina.
It's
Yeah.
always Rodney
Castellino.
and Castellina
Okay.
right at the front of the pack.
And when
And
you
then-
thought I wasn't
All right,
And
listening,
Castellino.
if Harless decides not to play MPO, he could
Castellino.
be up in the mix.
Yeah.
So,
dude, Harless is a man beast.
yeah,
Like it's crazy.
He's a baller.
Just such a good golfer.
Yeah.
Justin was your
Yeah, Justin, what have you been up to since
Off-season?
MCO?
Oh, working. I've been helping Duck River run their putting leagues out there and everything. So.
Wicked.
That's awesome.
where is that? What do they do at their putting league?
Well, there's a conference building or something like right by the course,
Okay.
and it's right there. We do 10 different holes. It's not like a regular like cornhole style putting league or anything. So it's
Nice.
fun.
I've
Castellina actually just came out and
Putting
I think
league.
he won and took the throw off money.
Didn't somebody hit one of the like the bounties or the ace recently or something like that? Hadn't been hit like as far as I know ever.
I know Bubba James has nailed a couple aces in the past couple days.
Isn't the hard one the bounty hole though?
Well, there's several
There's
bounty
several
holes
bounty
there.
holes.
They
Right.
move.
I don't know.
They
I
move
just
them
understand
Well, the
around
way
a lot,
the club,
but-
the way Duck River does it is like multiple holes on the course have a hole specific ace pot. So it's not like that's what they call the bounty. So like there's
Yeah.
the stairway to Horton, whatever hole that is that has the staircase around it, and
That's
like
hole 12.
a handful of others.
One of the ones
that
they
have-
redid.
Bobby Wims actually donated that staircase to them.
Dope.
Yep.
Thanks, Bobby.
Yep.
That's one of the ones they redesigned, correct? Like one of the holes, the staircase.
There's a
one?
bunch of those that they redesigned.
Yeah,
That was
that's
like 2-3 years,
basically
3-4
been
years ago now.
moderately
That's how
in
long
the
it's
same
been.
setup
Yeah.
since I've been playing. So.
We need to go see those guys.
I went down there and played one of their monthlies not too long ago,
Yeah.
like November or something.
I went and played.
October.
How was that one they used for the Ambassador Cup? What was that course?
Columbia, Muletown,
Woodland.
Woodland Park.
Yeah, Woodland Park.
Yes.
Yep.
Played down there with Telly and Michael Hammock, which
Nice.
he's pretty big into Duck River, right?
Oh,
He-
yeah.
he's,
Yeah.
He was telling me about the putting league, and I wish we didn't get our putting league set up, but we're doing Glow Golf Wednesday night tag.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
but I'm glad are those options.
Are there 2 in Columbia now, or just 1 still?
What's that?
Courses.
Just one.
There is like a 9-hole in Columbia at college, but
Yeah, it's
I mean,
private
it's not
property.
like a course.
Yeah.
I think Woodland Park is their only public park course.
That's what I was
Yeah,
curious
but
about.
I do believe
It's long.
I thought somebody got a
that
course in that
Horton may
area
be
down there.
getting Another 18 out there.
Horton.
Damn.
Yeah, I heard something about that.
Hell yeah, that's boss.
That's
The
dope.
rumors are in the trees.
There's
Marcus,
actually
what have you been
there's
up
a
to?
lot of rumors out there in these trees.
I've already gone, man. I wouldn't say.
Oh, did you?
I
Where'd
said
you
some
go?
stuff.
We
I
just
said some
started
stuff.
with it.
It's because we
Go
had just
again,
talked
go
about
again.
food, and I started for like 5-10 minutes. I just
Right.
started thinking about
Cinnamon
I mean, I can go
rolls?
again, man.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
a
What
family
kind of
dude.
food?
So I always some stuff. You got a
Maggie
family
makes
dude.
cinnamon
Yeah.
I can
rolls.
talk about stuff.
Cinnamon rolls.
Oh, I can
Cinnamon
talk
rolls.
about some stuff.
So there's a lot to talk about. We've got changes to the rules. We've got changes in sponsorship. This offseason has been wild. I mean,
There is a helicopter involved.
there is a helicopter, and Bitcoin is involved.
What kind of helicopter are we talking here?
Multi-millions of dollars,
Cessna?
multiple millions of
Shadow
dollars.
box
are involved.
helicopter?
So, yeah, rule changes, sponsorship changes. There are board elections that happen both for Music City Disc Golf and MTDGA and Muletown and all those all the area
changes?
clubs.
Yep.
The retirement of the national tour and the merger with the Disc Golf Pro Tour, now to have one steady, consistent tour. So there's all that stuff to talk about. There's been a lot going on with the PDGA Medical Committee.
Yes.
So we
yes,
kinda-
a lot of transgender has been a big topic.
The transgender
COVID.
debate. Yep.
Yeah, there's there's a lot going on.
Snuck up on me there.
So what do we want to talk about first?
What?
Well, I just blew Jay's mind with transgender.
we gotta get
conversations. No,
We got to get that spinner
when I
thing
mentioned
from,
transgender,
did
then,
not-
we got to get that
Correction,
spinner
you
thing
did
from
not
MCO
blow
to draw
anybody's
topics out of
mind.
it.
then what was that noise?
You just snuck up on me.
Okay.
You just snuck up on me. That's all. You didn't blow my mind. You just snuck up on me with it. That's all. I gotta be warned or something.
Give me a warning.
Yeah, I didn't realize we were.
Warning!
Yeah.
So-
the reason why,
The
'cause,
Office.
you know, it's just I don't know what is okay and not okay to say. So I just
We can talk about anything.
Scares me.
If we feel some kind of way after the conversation, we can edit anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Post
Yeah.
produce.
Don't you know? I think it's okay to be scared of things.
Yeah, it's also
Well,
good
there's-
to talk about things that people are
Yeah.
normally scared to talk about, because not talking about things clearly isn't doing us many favors.
I'm
No,
scared
we
of this.
have a lot to talk about. Yeah.
I'm scared that we just
When I
crowned
say us, I mean humans.
a world champion, a rookie of the year, and
Oh,
that
yeah.
the new people in the sport don't understand that.
Well, that's the bigger concern with all of that. I mean, the way
That's the bigger concern of all of this.
Yeah, first of all, for anybody that's not aware what we're talking about, Julianna
Jason.
Korver was named the Disc Golf Pro Tour's Rookie of the Year, FPO Rookie of the Year, alongside, was it Gannon Buhr or Gavin Rathbun?
Gannon Burr.
Gannon Buhr. Okay.
Gannon Burr.
So,
Commercial. Aaron Burr.
and Julianna Korver, who is a multiple-time world champion, was she 5-time world champion?
Yep.
Multiple-time world champion, been around for a long, long time. Just recently returned to pro competition. Now with the Disc Golf Pro Tour. So this was her first season competing on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and thus she met the criteria for the Rookie of the Year. Based on what the criteria for it was, as had been published by the Disc Golf Pro Tour, she was the one. There were, you know what I mean? So I was kind of baffled as to why that blew so many people's minds, and then it seemed like everybody also like kind of took this air as though they were assuming that this whole thing would be super offensive to Julianna. And
She loved it.
yeah, and I'm
She
like,
loved it.
think about
Yeah.
it. You're the only, who else is going to have 5 world championships before they win a Rookie of the Year award?
Yeah.
I mean, nobody else, that's going to be an untouched record for a long, long time.
Does it do damage to the prestige
At
of
least
the...
until Ken Climo or Stokely wins the Pro Tour.
I mean, how can it? Because
But he didn't have
it can
5.
only happen once. That can only happen one time. Because now it's instituted.
Not Stokely, but Climo. Yeah.
Sure. I would. The reason why I asked that is because I felt like there was no forewarning of like even like they were going to be making announcements about any of that.
They had posted it days before that.
That they were
And
gonna
they
be
posted
announced.
during
But
the
of
year
course, it's
what the
bigger
requirements
news
were.
that a 5-time world champion won the Rookie of the Year award than it is that the DGPT is going to have a Rookie of the Year award. So when they posted that they were going to be making these awards,
Nobody
can't
took it for
quit.
serious.
very small percentage of disc golf fans actually
Yeah.
paid attention to that
That's-
until it became controversial. Shame
Right.
on you guys.
You sucked my words out and spat them out for me. Like, because that's what I was about to basically about to say. It was like the same thing. It was like
what I like.
It wasn't gross. It was natural and it felt right.
Guys.
What I like what it
It
says
is
is
weird.
that
It is weird, and maybe that means that the criteria should have been refined a little bit.
Well, we should stop hanging out so damn much.
Yeah.
well, they say if you didn't play so many events on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, you can't play more than so many events and you're counted as a rookie. Because there's a lot of sports where there's rookies that they did play in, like Chicago Cubs, Chris Bryant, his first year, but then they took him out before so many games. And so, not that she was trying to get that, but just she didn't play that many on the Disc Golf Pro Tour the year before. So, but I think what it says for Julianna is that she had this article in Disc Golfer that you can go back and look at that she talks about why she stopped playing competitively. And it was, she would play and then people would say, oh, I beat you in, a local round or something. And like, you have to be on all the time because you're beating everybody. You don't lose to anybody.
Yeah.
And so even casual rounds, people would ask her, oh, why I beat you in a casual round. She's like, yeah, I'm just messing around. And so it stopped becoming fun for her. But now, she was at MCO last year, and it was. I mean, she looks like she's having a good time out there playing disc golf, competing. Joel Rogers was her caddy for MCO, so that was just cool to see that.
Yeah, that was
grouping.
dope.
But he was
so excited.
It was one of those where she's excited again playing disc golf, and she's trying to play tournaments, and she's doing well at tournaments. And then Stokely is going to play this year with the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and people are coming back into the mix. And disc golf is getting money, and it's
disc golf's getting money. Disc golf's like got shoved some money.
Yeah,
like, money
There's
is in disc
$1
golf
contracts.
now.
So
remember we were talking about this.
It's exciting to see that they have that passion come back. So that's cool.
Well, it makes me wonder where like it's going to take sponsorship since like these disc companies are pumping money into it.
Yeah.
What other companies are going to take interest in athletes now or partnering up with disc companies?
Yeah, you're going to see a lot
Johnsonville
more.
brought in the championship guaranteed rate mortgage. Like you're seeing real commercials during disc golf broadcasts, like real companies outside of disc golf that you would normally see on TV. So it's
when
happening.
you're talking the seriousness of YouTube to those companies now, because for a long time, talking to a company about you can get millions of YouTube views on, your company will be seen. Like that doesn't seem legitimate to me. It felt like it was like they don't care about YouTube. They have TV, but it's become so prevalent now. It's kind of crazy. And like what I was saying a second ago, do you remember like all of it? I mean, anybody who was in disc golf, like 5 years ago, even us talking about when this happens, when money comes to disc golf, I think it's freaking awesome that we're in disc golf and living in what is going to be history of disc golf.
And I mean, speaking of like the 2021 MCO, man, like we were all in the thick of it, and so we were trying to make sure that it went off, especially with all the wrenches that got thrown into our gears along the way.
It really grinds my gears.
But man, yes, this is a very formative time in the history, what will be the history of our sport one day when we look back on this, and we were right on the front. We got a front row seat to all of it,
for
man.
the foreseeable future.
The biggest national tour
we were
in
the
history.
last national tour of the PDGA ever.
For the foreseeable
and the biggest
future.
payout.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not one to shake a stick at, and I think that got underplayed quite a bit due to the commentary that was circulating.
There was a lot of chatter.
There was a lot of online chatter surrounding the Music City Open. Most of it founded in
no truth.
Yeah. So
how did Cedar Hill
also
go?
A lot of stuff just typical with the social media driven fandom of disc golf. It's like one person makes a 1 or 2 sentence tweet and everybody reads into it whatever they will based on their perspective, and then it becomes this big movement on social media. And like honestly, dude, I mean, we were there, and like for the people who were there, I mean, the PDGA staff was blown away. Biggest spectatorship on one day on our last day at Mill Ridge than Sean has seen at anything.
I can believe it.
Nashville, you fucking rock.
God.
Yeah.
Good.
Nashville showed out.
I mean, and not even
surrounding
Nashville. People
areas.
from everywhere.
People came from everywhere. There were people here from Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something about that because of all the talk beforehand. Did Cedar Hill earn its teeth and a right to be a national tour stop? or equivalent of now? Like, did it earn a spot there? Because they talk, and then
this is always going to be a matter
out.
of some conversation, because the nature of Cedar Hill, is it technical and challenging enough? Can it be technical and challenging enough? Yes, it can. But it's not going to be the same as most or any of the other courses played on tour, just because it's so densely wooded. You can't have huge galleries there. So it's almost like you couldn't put it at the level to see if it really has the same teeth, just because of certain other circumstances.
Parameters, yeah.
Plus, it is much shorter than most of the courses that are being played on tour, and that doesn't necessarily make it less challenging, because it is very technical. But it's one of those things where every course has like a certain flavor of difficulty, and at Cedar Hill, it's like you've got to get off the tee and be in a landing zone. And the people that get too aggressive, or the people that don't hit their lines, end up stacking strokes.
But you're telling me you have to play fucking good golf?
Yeah, Jay.
It held up.
Yeah,
it held up.
The reason why
for
is
the
because
MCO this year,
I didn't
it
think
held
it
up.
would.
Held up.
I didn't
It did
think it
hold
would,
up.
and that's why I asked, because my mind was changed.
Yeah.
Because you heard me say it for years. I said it. I was like, Cedar Hill's not there. It's not there anymore. But I think it totally changed my mind.
What was hot round at Cedar Hill this year? It was like 10?
10 down.
10 down.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah.
What was,
shout out to
what was it
Billy Fowler.
rated?
They're just making double
Cedar
digits.
Hill rated.
There are
Billy M.F. Fowler.
plenty of courses that they shoot well over.
What was that rated? Do you know?
I have no idea.
10 down.
Can I jump in?
I'm sure it could be pulled up.
I'm going to jump into this. I know I've been talking a little bit more than I normally do on anything or anything specific. Ugh.
Pacific?
You say that, and I ask about the rating of that round. I feel somehow now, without the national tour, and this is just
What do
me,
you think it's going to be rated first? What do you think?
1
10
second.
Down at Cedar Hill?
MCO Cedar Hill.
1,050 plus. Go ahead, tell me what it is.
Wait, it's like.
Give it to me, baby.
10,
Hit me with
20,
your big
10,
shot.
1030 maybe.
No, I'm just saying that's illegal. You can't guess 1050 plus. You got to say a number.
Okay,
1047.
1047.
1047.
That's pretty funny. I'm gonna say 1060.
1051.
I'm going to say 1031.
I said 1047.
If you go over, it doesn't count.
Please say those again.
1031.
1060.
This is why the putting contest at GBO went so well. I got him.
Oh my gosh! Damn you, Jay! It was.
It's the only one I had.
It was 10.
Did you play T-ball?
1071.
Holy
I was way
shit.
off.
Okay.
Guess who won
Holy
that?
shit.
Look who won.
Totally earned it. If that's a 10 downs at 1071, that's not national
You can't
tour
outguess
or
me,
like
dude.
equivalent of.
No one can outguess me.
1071.
Well,
Hey, Jack,
before we
wait,
get
Jack,
completely
Jack.
off of it,
I'll give you
Jay.
two. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
Let's
good.
guess the
Yeah.
number of turns during right here.
Number of what?
yeah, let's do it.
Number of turns right
Yeah,
here.
we're going to put money on it.
He's sat
Was
there
that
and
the high?
counted that.
Hey, here's
He
another
sat
guessing
there and,
game
like,
for you
counted that loop.
guessers. Was that the highest rated round in the MCO?
No, because you asked that question.
Was it the highest rated round in the
Okay.
MCO?
No, it's not because you asked it.
Who shot it?
Okay, who
bro.
shot it and what course was it on and what was the rating?
Tiger Birth at Two Rivers.
At least
Ricky
say
at
her
Mill
name
Ridge.
right if you're going to throw shade.
I
It
wasn't throwing
was
shade.
it was Ricky
Ricky at
Wysocki.
Mill Ridge.
It's
First
straight up.
round at Mill Ridge,
Yes, sir.
1077.
Dang, is that not how you say your name? 'Cause- No, straight
Ricky
up. How do you say it?
Wysocki.
I was hoping
thought it
because
was
I saw
better.
that shot he did on was it hole 15 in the long?
Hole 15, Cedar Hill, the longest. Ricky got a 2 on.
Dude, that was
What? Whoa. He 2'd 15?
Yeah, dude.
Hats off, sir.
For Ricky, parked it.
Suck it.
That was like
Parking
circle
it for
two,
Ricky
right?
is like 120 feet away.
Yeah,
so-
circle
Six-
2 off the
60
tee.
So,
Yeah.
so some players
That's crazy.
had great shots and excelled out there, and some
Yeah.
of the elites didn't. I think that earns
Yeah, I mean
that.
it's one of those. It's
I
one
think
of
that
those
is that.
where the.
Keep going. You're good.
Oh, it's one of those where nobody. I think you could in all the positions. Yes, you could 2 every hole, or you could birdie every hole. The pros could birdie every hole, but no one did.
Yeah.
10 down was the best score. I believe MCO the year before 12 down was the best score. It was a different layout, and it wasn't the longest layout.
Somebody
Cedar
just told
Hill.
me that Dutch Napier shot like 14 down.
Well, he was in the 8s here.
Yeah.
No. What, you talking about Cedar Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah, he very
Checking.
well
Did
Checking.
he? That all being said, how much weight will a conversation like this, when we're talking about ratings and stuff, have now that the national tour is not involved and there's not anything but a few majors? Because they're not going to. Pros aren't.
Before we get to that, because that is
Dutch Napier shot a 14 down at Seven Oaks.
Seven Oaks.
1077. He shot a
1070s.
1008
This is why I'm selectively
Cedar
deep.
Hill.
But
So
pros are supposed to.
one thing I want to
destroy
say
Seven
too,
Oaks.
while we're getting onto the ratings at Cedar Hill, a lot of the things that we did and the changes that were made to Cedar Hill going into this MCO, people were critical of because they didn't understand them. Like there were certain places where we moved, we put a new pin position maybe less than 10 feet away from where a previous one was. And everybody's like, why are we doing this? Just spread it out, stretch it out, make it long. That'll be, then it's good enough.
That doesn't make always good golf.
But that's the thing, and what I kept trying to point out to people is that, you know, these changes we're making are based on the scoring separation that we have cataloged on this course over several years of high-level professional competitive play. And we understand better than you do how these holes are being played by different people. And it was like, it wasn't just we were going willy-nilly and just picking straws out of a hat. Here, let's just throw a rag out there, and wherever it lands, we'll set a new pin. There was strategy behind it, and it played out in the scoring during Music City Open. One thing that we could easily point to is, you know, everybody got in a big uproar over Paul Macbeth's tweet. And, you know, everybody was, you know, and I think a lot of people were expecting him to play lights out at Cedar Hill because it is shorter and it's definitely within his capability. But the way that he played, at least that he started in the first round, he had a hard time. Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, yeah, you can play, these players can play that course very well. Yeah. They can also have a rough day, man.
And there were
either thing is
several
possible.
highly rated pros that really did not play well.
Oh, I mean, watch the Jomez coverage. The card that they covered, Macbeth, Oakley, like they struggled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they struggled.
Bless.
Yeah.
I love Oakley. Cedar Hill and him. They have their battles.
They do.
Yeah.
They
Go
do.
back to
Whole
what-
18.
I definitely.
Jay,
fought
you
with
said it for a
that
second.
day.
You said it for a second there. Hole 9 and 10 should have been long.
What?
Well, okay, so
wait. I didn't say that.
So,
What are you
so-
talking about?
yeah,
9
you
and
did. Yeah,
10.
you did.
When?
Yeah, you did. So
No,
here's
that was
the
a
thing.
comment that
I
was
said
made.
hold on.
Here's
That's
the
hold
thing.
on.
Here's the
9
thing.
and 10. We're talking about
Here's the thing. So
at Cedar Hill.
Hill.
the
Yeah.
previous.
I told him they should be long.
No.
I said this.
No, I heard you mumbling under your breath.
Somebody said that. I
I
think it was
said
just.
hold
All right, so I'm gonna play.
Because it
I'm
was a
gonna
point
play.
of contention.
I'm going to
because
play
people are
devil's
still
advocate
talking
here.
about it.
Okay. So let's say we played that tournament last year and hole 9 and 10 were in the long. You want to come back this year and do better because of the previous year, right? Because you want like, hey man,
It
you got me
depends
last
on
year.
what doing better, because what if you got a 3 on hole 9 where it is now, but you could easily get a 3 on the longer, which would have been a birdie. And it
Again,
was
I'm playing
par
devil's
this year.
advocate here just to say that, you know, some
just
people
so
were
everybody
thinking
knows what
themselves
we're
like,
talking
oh
about,
man, you know,
In 2020, on hole 9, because we do have a new long position, both divisions, MPO and FPO, played that new long position from the same tee pad.
No, FPO played
because we
the
switched
parking
it up.
lot.
Right, FPO played to the parking lot. They played it straight, and then the guys played it, and the par was the same. Right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
No, it was
no.
a 4 for the women, a 3 for the men.
So that was it was adjusted based on the altered position. But the women had an easier time with that hole than the men did. They just looking at the par and the scoring separation and the way it all shook out.
Right.
And then it was a big thing this year. Everybody said that because the guys, we played them to different positions, or we had it, you know what I mean? So, but that was based on data from the previous year on how people played the hole. So that's just a good example of that.
Right.
But Jay touched on something that I think is still something that a lot of people are confused about, is what the actual nature of the merger between the PDGA and the Disc Golf Pro Tour actually means. And I think at the time of the Music City Open, based on conversations I had, I was very, very confident that a majority of people, even at that point with both the tours, had no idea what was the difference.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Well, they started looking at payout, and they're like, "This is not a Disc Golf Pro Tour." And then people were tweeting, "What's up with this Nashville course #DGPT?" And
Right.
it wasn't a Disc Golf Pro Tour event.
Right.
That's because the highly unmotivated people out there who don't go and learn start talking before they learn about what's really going on. Like you were saying, sometimes, and I was going to applaud the shit out of you for this, sometimes we do know better than you. Like the stuff you're talking about, we don't, people who run events and high-level events like that we've all done, don't go into things making decisions off of whims. There's like, and it flabbergasts me that people think that.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of strikes a nerve with me because it's like, do you
Very
think that
frustrating.
these events go on to these success levels at a
By accident?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, and then
It's a
you
fluke.
ask a question, and then people ask questions like that. It's like, what's like? Think before you speak. Sometimes, like, or get some knowledge before you do.
Yeah, well, a good opportunity here on the show, too, to point out exactly what the difference was, because now it's totally changed. But, you know, years ago, there was no tour. So the PDGA instituted the national tour, and throughout the decades, years, it has fluctuated in size in terms of number of events, what events are played. There's a bid process, so you could do that. Of course, 2016, the inception of the Disc Golf Pro Tour under Steve Dodge, and then later sold, and now in its current iteration, more money is coming into it, more organization, more resources are behind it, and the pros began to expect that higher fiscal standard from those events. Of course, now you have to think of it, there are two promotions, two tours, if you will. There's the National Tour and the Disc Golf Pro Tour. And the PDGA and the Disc Golf Pro Tour tried their best to coordinate the schedules so that players could potentially compete in both and have access to the most, the highest amount of payout, points, all that kind of stuff. And as the Disc Golf Pro Tour has become more established, the agreement has now been made to abolish the National Tour and turn the professional tour competition over to the Disc Golf Pro Tour. So
I think they kind of merged.
instead of having two different kinds of Elite Series events, we now have Elite Series is the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and you have the majors, which the PDGA will still administrate,
Well,
including
Elite
one new one.
Series is there's the Disc Golf Pro Tour. There are Elite Series and Silver Series.
Correct.
So that is a
Yeah, it's
Go ahead. Go ahead.
you.
No.
Jay's having a seizure over here, right? When I said Elite Series and Silver
Y'all
Series.
think that I'm going to
You
say
say
something?
transgender
No.
again.
I'm going to say something, but I don't want to cut you off, so I stop myself. I'm not like I'm just waiting
Yeah,
for you to
just- yeah,
finish.
yeah.
I'm just waiting for you.
I
to
felt
finish
it.
what
It was a
you're saying.
Go for
nonverbal
it.
cue.
Yeah.
And go.
A nonverbal cue. You were not even
I'm
done
nonverbal
talking.
cueing you.
I get what you're saying.
You've been cued.
No, I can't speak. I'm scared.
He'll come back to
Bounce the ball to him.
No.
Elite
I know
Series,
I'm going
Silver
with
Series.
it. No, fuck the Elite Series, Silver Series. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the national tour. What? Let me go real deep in my brain with you guys. I feel like within the next 5 to 10 years.
Alert.
2 hours later.
Hold up. Like, okay, next 5 to 10 years, PDGA doesn't exist.
No,
Stop.
no.
Let me explain. Now, okay, big statement. Let me explain myself now. Let me give you what goes on in the mind, the ill mind of myself.
Ill.
Okay, you straight up. Here we go.
Let's go.
How is our rating system based? It's based off of the people who play the event and the ratings
Propagators.
that bring those numbers. 1,000 rated. You play an event with 50,000 rated players. Your rating, if you play in that thing, no matter pretty much how you shoot, if you're 900, your rating will be better.
What do you think Tiger Woods' rating is right now?
What? Hold on. stay with me for a second.
We are getting way
And
in
I
the
think
weeds.
he's like number, I don't know, who knows. You see, ooh, you got me off track now.
No, I want to hear this.
Okay, so those ratings are based off of those high rated players, and you see it in small towns or like medium sized towns where they get stuck in those rating traps where they can't ever break that 1,000 rated, but they're boss golfers because nobody 1,000 rated ever plays those events that they play. Okay, so there's you see that all the time. Now, there's no national tour. All the PDGA has are these majors. So
And thousands of other events.
Is this okay? Yes, you're 100% right. They have thousands of other events that they sanction over. The Disc Golf Pro Tour now takes most of all of anybody who plays high rated golf, 1,000 plus, to those events, the Silver Series and the Disc Golf in the Elite Series. Most of those pros are going to stick with those series because that's where the money's at. They're not going to play your local run-of-the-mill A tier, which is all that there is other than majors now. They're not going to play those. So you're going to develop.
A lot of them will, though.
Like some, the guys who are not making the cash that they're thinking. Let me finish before you give me your rebuttal, because I think that's worth it. I shouldn't say PDGA doesn't exist. The PDGA doesn't exist in professional disc golf. It exists as almost an amateur sanctioning and governing body.
Well, okay,
because
here's the thing that you
Disc
just
Golf
nailed.
Pro Tour is going to take off money wise, and unless they're willing to pump everybody who's a member of the of PDGA into majors to pay those guys, they're going to stop playing majors unless they love the event.
For the sake of the audience, because I want you to,
in my opinion,
I want you to continue with this, and I want to continue on with this note. But this is in what we're talking about right now, and the way that you're approaching it is indicative of something that is very widespread among the disc golfing public, in that I don't think people really understand what the PDGA is and what it does primarily. Because first and foremost, the PDGA is the governing and sanctioning body of the entire sport at the competitive level.
Whoa.
So the only thing that has changed is that before, there was nobody else running professional tour events or majors or anything of these high-level competitive events. The Disc Golf Pro Tour, this is also important to point out, those events are only for MPO and FPO divisions. So when you're saying, like, the PDGA won't exist, I mean, like, the first and foremost, the PDGA is the governing body. It's not the promotion. So, like, now the only thing that has happened is that, like, the touring consistent like MPO and FPO series is handled by the Disc Golf Pro Tour, but they operate under the governance of the PDGA
for now, until they start.
They don't make rules.
Money gets
they don't
in.
make or enforce rules. They don't rate rounds. All the PDGA owns the rating system.
Right.
They are
now.
implementing. They want to implement a tour card,
And the PDGA
which
just
could have higher standards
gave them
than the PDGA.
all of that with the merger. So how long before the Disc Golf Pro Tour says we can do all this now that we've already got the formatting? They've given it to us. What else can they provide? We have all this TV money. See you bye.
Well, I mean, from the conversations that I've had with people that were at a fair amount of the tour events this year and the majors, there's a striking difference between consistency and enforcement of rules at Disc Golf Pro Tour events than there are at events that are run and hosted by the PDGA. And I think that there is a disparity that is observed by different people in different ways. I think the MPO and FPO competitors are seeing an improvement in everything because there's more money at the Disc Golf Pro Tour events. There's consistently more money. It's not dependent on, how much, because let's be honest, with the national tour, you've got some events are being run by clubs and local organizations, and then you've got things like Dynamic Disc Open, and you've got things like Ledgestone, which have the backing of big major companies. And so that disparity between, say, going from, a brand new, like, if there had never been COVID and if the national tour wasn't ending and we were, like, say 2020, we had the national tour event as Music City Open and then continued, people no doubt would have felt like a separation between the events on the tour that have been around for 5, 10 plus years and being our first time on the tour. There's just a difference in consistency there. I think the improvement that you're going to see with the Disc Golf Pro Tour taking over the tour is that they're going to be able to provide a higher level amount of money and resources consistently throughout the season. And the PDGA is not like removing itself, but their bandwidth as the organizational governing body of the sport can now be more dedicated to governing, sanctioning, like maintaining the structure and the infrastructure of the sport, because there's now somebody that is capable of managing the MPO.
So were you saying that the majors, people will not play the majors?
I think that the pros that love the event, unless the PDGA pumps the money that the members of it give it through the tournaments and obviously your renewal fees and all the new members, unless they pump basically most of that money into those majors, they're not going to be able to compete with if disc golf takes off on the TV. It's not going to, and that's when I say they just gave them their ace in the hole.
What about the USDGC? You don't think we're going to continue to play that?
No, they will. They will, but it'll be AMs of the PDGA, and it'll be the Disc Golf Pro Tour will be what you see on TV.
And the NBA, don't you have like the people who are on TV, and do you have like
because they've given them their ace, their formatting, their rule structuring. How long is it before the Disc Golf Pro Tour says, "Hey, we don't have to pay you for this anymore because you've already given it to us. We know how to do this. Now we enforce it ourselves." We have the TV money. PDGA has membership, nonprofit money. So unless they pump those monies into the majors, they won't have anything, sponsors. And they won't have any incentive for AM. It'll be a feeder league into the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
But the Disc Golf Pro Tour could not function.
Why couldn't it?
Without rules, competition manual, tour standards. 100%. You have to be a PDGA. I mean, hey, it is totally feasible and forced, and I guess there's a world where it's possible that the Disc Golf Pro Tour totally secedes and says, no, we're not doing anything with the PDGA anymore. But that's going to leave every amateur and age-protected pro out in the cold while they figure out how to manage that many divisions and that many players.
They're learning
that many events.
They brought them on board. They're learning it right now, and that's what I'm saying. The PDGA will give them that.
They're not learning how to run it.
No, but
7,000 AM events.
But how long before?
They don't care.
How long before the PDGA doesn't carry the clout of they're the governing body of, because Disc Golf Pro Tour, okay, you govern the body of disc golf. Well, we get money from TV, and the pros want the money. So,
well, the PDGA makes the whole thing sustainable because it provides a structure for people to come into the sport at a ground level and
they get rated and go
towards
up
that end.
When it comes to money, and if the Disc Golf Pro Tour were to say you have to earn a card, or like the Pro Tour of golf, you have to earn a card to get on this tour.
That's what they're doing.
Okay, ratings become obsolete to pros.
Yeah, and they are largely even before this, they have been largely obsolete for pros.
Then the rating system strictly goes to AMs and you feeding them into, or the age protected.
Even outside of the Disc Golf Pro Tour, there is going to be a higher reliance on ranking systems for the top of the professional field, and the amateurs are going to largely rely on ratings.
So is the PDGA providing that? Because I didn't know they had that.
Yeah, well, I mean, anybody can rank somebody.
There is a rating.
Anybody can rank
but
somebody.
There is a rating.
Pro Tour.
We can have the Last Cash podcast power ranking.
Sure, 100%. And I bet there will be multiple. There'll be the PDGA ranking, and there'll be the Disc Golf Pro Tour power ranking.
And it'll be two different rankings.
Sure.
The Disc Golf Pro Tour ranking will be based on other competitors in MPO and FPO on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, whereas the PDGA ranking will have a more in-depth, where the AMs can still continue to see where they stack up even with those players. It's
going to have like a dong.
So we'll have that.
Bing bong.
We need agree to agree or agree to disagree.
I was going to say we'll have the 5 majors. Is it 5 or 6 majors?
Do we agree to agree, or do we agree to disagree?
6, yeah, 6 now, because the Champions Cup.
Are we both right? Or are we both wrong?
Hold on, let me finish. They'll have those, and if they pump the money, the PDJ takes the money and pumps it into those events where the pros will play it. Because if you're looking at that type of money, TV money, like that's what they'll have to do, because TV money is. I'm not saying it'll be football, but just in general, look at the contracts from ESPN2. They're they're astronomical.
I just think, how is somebody not
compared to
USDGC?
That's what I'm saying. They'll play the ones that mean something, that are prestigious to them, regardless of the money. But the other ones, if they're making money at the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and they can do it,
but a world championship.
Okay, so a world.
I cannot.
So
how long does
do you think they're not content with the money they're making right now?
Do they seem to be? Because like now everybody's getting in, and the people who are not getting in, they want in.
Do you think the name PDGA can't get
because there's 2 worlds
TV
to a
sponsorship
professional
if it's available?
One more time. I'm sorry.
Do you think the name PDGA can't at some point get its own TV?
I'm curious.
Sponsorship?
If they have the
money.
So
you think they're going to... But what you're saying, the idea that you're making is you're saying that they're going to stand still on their hands for the next 5 years and let these people continue to make money in ways that
they're going to make their money.
In ways that they think they can't make themselves. You're saying for 5 years they're going to sit on their hands and say, okay, they can make money here. Okay, they can make money here. It's eventually, they're also going to have to try themselves.
But that's the thing. Can they compete as a nonprofit with a membership-based income with TV and corporate money
Well,
that
I mean,
could
if
be
you can't
pumped into
compete the
disc
first
golf?
year, if you can't compete the
And
second
what
year,
I'm-
you'll
what
get
I'm-
the third year, you get the fourth year. I mean, if you keep making steps, I mean, they're a huge body.
Yeah, but the PDGA, and again, this is what I'm trying to come back to. The PDGA and the Disc Golf Pro Tour are not in competition. They're symbiotic entities. That's the whole point of the merger,
Right.
is that now you've got the PDGA operating in a governmental, maintenance, administrative, overseeing the sport, and running the highest prestigious awards, the World Championships for all the different divisions, the USDGC. You know, it's evolving in a way that's making it fit more comfortably together. The PDGA is not going to suddenly go away. I mean, like the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean,
may
like
misstep by saying that.
no, I mean it's just they're not competing. Like I think where a lot of the conversation that you see online ends up going the same direction, where everybody assumes that the two are competing against each other, when in reality, the Disc Golf Pro Tour is taking some burden off of the PDGA so that the PDGA can get better at the purpose that it is built on, and we can continue to uphold and carry on this growth that we're experiencing.
So the purpose of the PDJ is to grow the sport, correct?
Yeah, and the governing body and the membership organization for all disc golfers and all that.
So they've relieved themselves of what draws people to those high elite level events, the pros, correct?
They haven't.
They're still
still have the majors,
affiliated.
that's what I'm
with
saying.
them.
Well,
I mean,
they're
hand in
affiliated,
hand.
and they're
hand in
not
hand.
and they're not competing. I'm not saying that they are. I didn't say that at all. I didn't say they were competing. I'm saying that they've given the Disc Golf Pro Tour,
because in the partnership, in the agreement, the Disc Golf Pro Tour has conceded that to compete in their events, you have to be a current PDGA member, you have to be a certified PDGA rules official. And what I was saying is that at some point, unless this happens, and at some point I guess it potentially could, but if the Disc Golf Pro Tour said they didn't want to play nice with the PDGA anymore and they weren't going to require people to be PDGA members, they weren't going to require anything from the PDGA, and they decided that they were going to step out on their own, and all of a sudden they're going to make up their own rules, they're going to make up their own standards and competition.
why would they
manual.
have to make them up? They just keep the same ones. I mean, like
Because those rules are updated. There's people, they're updating the whole year.
Because the
They have
organization is
discussions to
built
keep up.
to do that. Yeah, and alter
They have
and
people
make new
paid
rules
for-
based on the evolution of the
So-
sport.
rules. They have the rule book, right? The basic rule book. The biggest problem was what with the Disc Golf Pro Tour? You said earlier, rules and structure, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, they've now given them some of the events that provide that structure for the PDGA that are just going to provide that structure for the Disc Golf Pro Tour, right? The big level events that
Not the biggest
I'm not
events.
drawing that correlation.
not the
that
big
you're
level
seeing
event,
there.
but trusted, well-ran events.
Yeah, well, they still have to run them according to the PDGA Tour standard. I mean, like
Yeah.
they can.
And the
It's not a
PDGA
PDGA Tour standard anymore.
The Disc Golf Pro Tour has their own set
That is
of
the
standards,
standard now.
and yes, but that's not the standard. That rides
there's
on
tour
top
standards
of
and then there's DGPT policies,
yeah.
but it's not a standard.
So when running a Disc Golf Pro Tour event, which is the high level elite and silver series, which are you following?
Both.
Okay, because they're under that same umbrella, right?
Yeah,
Because the PDGA
like the payout
provided
structure,
that.
for example.
Okay, sure. Okay, provided all that, right? So they've given them that now.
I don't
They
know what you
haven't
mean by
given it.
saying they've given
Then
them.
what were you
They're
saying?
partnering
they
with
merged, right?
Yeah.
So there was a mutual benefit. What was the money of the Disc Golf
Basically,
Pro
we
Tour?
no longer have two competing tours. There's one tour, and then there are majors and championships.
And they can keep,
But
they
they're
can
all-
spend more time on other things. The PDGA has offloaded responsibility for some of the biggest events, but they still have the biggest events.
It's like, say, if you were designing a course and you were proposing it to a parks board, and you had a topographical map of this
I
section
feel like
of
you're trying to
area,
explain
and you had an
my
over.
point to me, except for it's not the point I'm trying to make, because I feel like
What is the
you're
point you're
not
trying to
getting
make?
back to the fact that everything is based off the point system, and the point system will be
point
eliminated.
system or the ratings?
The rating system, excuse me, the rating system will be obsolete in a sense to the pros. So what you're going to have is no pros playing any real sanctioned PDGA events other than the sanctioned Pro Tour events that only get to play in if you're a Pro Tour, or if you're only a Pro FPO or MPO. And
But
with
that's
the new,
not the case, though. A lot of
Wait.
all the touring pros play a handful of A tiers, B
But
tiers.
I think they
But
will
they won't
play
because the
fewer
money's there, and they even if they don't get
other events.
first, they'll be the 10th, but they'll make more than what they could at 2 different or 3 different A tiers, and they can save that for longevity.
Okay, but
Well, I
let's-
mean, in each pro, I'll go through this same mindset.
So you'll have-
they all say at some point, "Hey, I'm not going to play that tournament." You know why? Because Palmerbet's going to be there, because Simon's going to be there, because WG, it doesn't matter. You know,
They'll play the
and
Silver
I'm going to
Series.
go and play something else because that guarantees some money for me.
So
and
then there's-
even if it doesn't matter if I can be on
I
TV
get
or
that.
not, I can make more money playing this tournament because there's such names not going to be there, and I
Sure.
know I can dominate. You know, and it also makes my ratings better. So I want to make money, and I also want to make my rating go better. And because there's
My
only-
point
because
exactly.
because the sport's growing, there's gonna be so many pros out there. You know, it's gonna be like, you know, the NBA, A League, B League. You're in the NBA. It's gonna be very similar to that. So I don't watch those B League games, but those people are out there still doing it. They're still making money, and somehow they're still making it up to the NBA. So cool. I'll keep playing these local tournaments. I'll keep playing all these tournaments until my rating get good. And then when I want to go on a national, the national tour, and I want to get something bigger, you know, I'll do that.
Making
then.
my point for me.
So-
when you go on the national tour, they're gonna say, okay, there's gonna be a standard for getting on that national
What
tour.
I'm saying is
because
that
there's gonna
yeah,
be
what
so
What I'm
many
saying is
pros,
that
right?
Because there's so many new golfers coming into the sport, that will definitely fill up both divisions where nobody should be missing any money because there'll be people can't get into the national tour if they don't have the ratings. But there's still going to be more golfers out there playing. I'm
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to be able to play
But
those
if
antiques. I can
that's
play the
the
local
cap,
tournaments.
if that's the cap,
The
where
people
you
like me.
become like so just
Yeah,
for
making your
instance,
tour
if-
card,
if
that's gonna be a big
10-10
deal.
Is the 10-10 is the where you can get into the pro tour? Then everybody who's going to be on tour at 10-10 jumps to the pro tour,
But
right? So
everybody can't get in.
nobody.
It's only one golf
Nobody
course.
exceeds 10-10 in the PDGA anymore because everybody jumps to the pro tour as a pro. And
the way you're
get-
saying it makes it seem like there's some sort of delineation where like you're either playing these events or you're playing these events, but they exist together.
The top
Yeah.
pros will be playing the Disc Golf Pro Tour almost exclusively, except for majors. That will happen.
maybe if the money's there. Why play a major unless you love the
Because they
event,
will get
unless
their
you-
majors, and people will find a way to get sponsorship.
What makes it a major?
It'll be-
Perspective.
But okay, think about it
the
like this.
field?
I
The
mean,
field
like,
makes it a major.
But if there's no money there, the field doesn't show up because they've made all their money on the Disc Golf Pro
Okay.
Tour.
yeah, but that's,
There will be money there because people
If
invest
the
in majors.
PDGA pumps the money that it makes from the membership, and
No, they
another
don't have
event-
to make any money. They're going to get sponsors to sponsor the majors.
Right. That's
Really?
That's guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want the guarantee.
Okay,
That's where
okay.
the money
Have you heard of
comes from.
USDGC Innova?
Yeah.
Like, how
I've-
much money they pump in there?
Dude, but TV.
Yeah, inflation, bro.
okay.
Yeah, it's-
there's going to be TV
Because there's going to
at
be
the
bids
majors,
for
just
major
like there will be at the
contracts.
Pro Tour.
Your
There's going to be
value
people wanting to
becomes-
cover the majors.
Your
and
value
media
is in the
companies
Disc
are
Golf
going
Pro
to pay.
Tour now, and so they start pumping money into that.
I don't think that
Media
I think
companies
it's
are
much
gonna
less
pay the
simple
PDGA to
and
cover
binary than
majors.
that. But we are clearly needing to probably move
Mark
on
my
to
words.
something else. Now,
Right.
Can't Cash podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, but yeah, we mentioned at the beginning of the show. No, nothing's changed. What are you talking about?
No.
We mentioned at the beginning of the show that I got a lot of new stuff going on. I guess it's kind of a tour. It's a more localized tour. It's definitely going to be a lot friendlier on the RV that J Ray has been running around the country
Yeah.
for the last decade. But
And easy on the eyes. Nice
yeah,
shirt.
very, very easy on the eyes, yeah. And it's going to be really cool. We've got 2 point series that I'm going to be running. I've got the
Damn,
Dogwood and two totals.
Yeah.
Totally separate
Yeah.
point system. Twofers. Twofers. So the first one we'll go ahead and start with the one that I've kind of teased a little bit, and it starts first. So is the Dream Team Dubs Tour.
Dream Team.
Yeah, Dream Team Dubs Tour. And this is going to be...
Harkens back to the 1992 NBA Olympics.
You get it. We're going to release the flyer as soon as this episode airs. You guys can kind of see the graphic on the screen here, but the colors and the graphics on the flyer were kind of... And I was hoping, and as always, Kevin Schaefer at Dynamic Disc, our graphics guy, pulled through in fine form, and he sent me it was exactly what I was looking for for the logo and the graphics and stuff. So, but it's going to be fun. It's a Bring Your Own Partner doubles series, and it similar to the Music City Disc Golf Bag Tag series. We are going to be touring around a bunch of the best courses in our area throughout the year. It's going to be a series of 8 regular events and a final.
Nice.
So we can go ahead.
Nice format, buddy.
Yeah, well, it's popular. It's proven. It's tested and proven. You know what I mean? And it's not like,
I like it.
It's not like I wasn't there for the testing and the proving. So
no.
But the event schedule, first up, coming up right around the corner, is going to be Event 1 at Two Rivers.
Boom.
So just like
lots happening at Two Rivers this month.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, I loosely kind of tried to plan these around the Bag Tag series so that while you guys are highlighting these courses, it can just double up on the attention that the courses are getting, and it's a totally different and unique opportunity for people to play these tracks. You know, you get the Bag Tag series where you get to come out and play singles for tags and payout tournament atmosphere, and then this is going to build hopefully a scenario where everybody always has fun at BYOP doubles stuff, and I think a lot of the fun that's
Bring your own partner.
Bring your own partner. I think a lot of the fun that is had is in the selection of your partner, and then the building of the hype of the team. And you see a lot of people will go nuts and get T-shirts made, jerseys, and dress up and come up with really, really clever team names.
Shout out to Finger Pop.
Yep, shout out to Finger Pop and some others. All of that is highly encouraged, and my hope is that this will allow these teams and these friendships to build on that, to where it's like you can really justify making a sick jersey for your team because you're going to get to play wearing it for a whole season.
And how many team events are there in the greater Nashville, 1 hour to 1.5 hours in Nashville? Like, there's a ton of Bring Your Own Partner events.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and they're always hugely successful. We've got
July 4th. We do the
Independence
Dubs
and Voodoo
Dubs
and all these different things. And a lot of places are seeing the same thing. I know, like at Bud Hill, the tournaments they have there, certain tournaments they have there, they usually open up the weekend by having Bring Your Own Partner doubles that Friday before the event. Right. So it's becoming a popular format. And so the idea here is just to build on it, let it become something more elaborate and fun. Yeah. And so that is the first of the big announcements. We are also going to be going to Ogwood, Cedar Hill, White House, Seven Oaks, Buckner Park in Dixon, Cane Ridge Park,
Buckner.
Yep, Sharp Springs, and Central Valley. So, shout out to Randy Singleton, the new president of MTDGA.
I've already had a conversation with him, man. I like where his head's at because he's a different. Like there's going to be a different flavor, coming from MTGGA. Yeah,
and Randy is great, dude. Yeah. I love the guy. He's a good friend of ours. He's been on the podcast, I think. Yeah, we've had him on the podcast. And
correspondent.
He's going to be a correspondent. So, but he's got a lot of big things going on, and something that was kind of new to me, being distracted by MCO and Ogween and stuff, is the new course that they got in Murfreesboro, Central Valley.
Yeah.
Central Valley is phenomenal. It is a great
have not
course.
Played it. I want to get out there.
Yeah, me and Justin and Tommy went out and played right around Christmas or New Year's.
Yeah.
And the weather, it was windy and chilly, but dude, I mean, it's just a really great track. And I think that they have already used it in the Rutherford Anniversary Tournament, but there are going to be some big things coming to Central Valley. I guarantee it. It's just a great track and a great addition to the area down there and what MTDGA is able to offer.
Where did that come from? What was the
Central Valley?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I know Logan Bowers was involved in the design and the installation.
I feel like it popped up maybe a year ago or just not even a year ago, and now it's already been
within
involved
the last year.
In a lot of tournaments, and it's going to be involved in more tournaments. But I mean, the Rutherford Anniversary. I mean, it's already proving its mettle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
and it's just the way it's situated, it sets itself up to host really awesome events. There's, there's always some sort of logistical concern about room for spectators, access for media, all these different things. And Central Valley, it just has everything in spades. It's going to be dope. It's going to be super cool. And so the final event of the Dream Team Dubs Tour is going to be at Central Valley. So a little bit to know about this, more about the divisions that are going to be available and all of that stuff. Details will be announced after the show airs. But the points system is going to be really cool. It's going to be different than what we've done with the bag tags for the last few years. I've kind of renovated a little bit, those experiments that we always talk about, see what works.
I like experiments.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Going to be really awesome. And I'm looking at doing some really neat trophies for that too. So everybody stay tuned.
Get your trophy game, man.
Yeah, stay tuned for the deets. I'll be making announcements this week.
Yeah, as I know there's always, more with Ambassador Cup, it's like your ratings cannot exceed this number, and if you don't have a rating, we count you as this.
Yep.
And we'll try to keep people honest.
Yeah. We will probably defer to the PDGA ratings loosely as a rubric to kind of see if anything comes up. I think the way that the divisions I've got are structured, it's going to kind of hopefully encourage and allow for people to naturally fall into place, get in where they fit in. And, if we have any discrepancies, the main point here is that everybody has fun and that it's fair for everybody. So I've tried to set it up to be as kind of casual and fun, but also as equal parts competitive for anybody that wants to take it quasi seriously. So
when that was one of my questions for you is it because it is a series, then what do you look for in a bring your own partner doubles? Are you looking for having fun, joking on each other, playing well, winning, or a combination? Because I feel like doubles teams there's like the really hyped costume jerseys. They're just out there to have fun, but they're actually pretty good. Then there's the ones that are so serious that sometimes too serious. And then there's the ones that so what do you, when you're doing a bring your own partner doubles, or when was the last time you did a bring your own partner doubles, and what did you, have you done one recently? I haven't done a bring your own partner doubles.
I've been closely involved with Voodoo Dubs and Independence Dubs.
That's right.
So I'm pretty intimate with the formatting and all of those things. The thing that the balance that I think, and of course this should be prefaced by saying that any event, you should take careful stock of what your goal is for that event, what you're trying to make each event on its own. I think a lot of times that happens where people tried to build every event around one kind of structure that they have seen.
Right.
And so, I think with this particular series, I think the goal is first, yes, you do, like I mentioned, building a team and taking it, having fun with it. And like you want to, the ultimate goal there is if your team wins your division, that's bragging rights.
Right.
This isn't PDGA sanctioned. There's not like, you're not going to go to a world championship because you win this series. So the main
cool points.
Yeah, you get a lot of cool points. Cool points. And but the overreaching goal here is that is fun for sure. But, those bragging rights that you get if you win don't mean much if the whole thing's a 3-ring circus. So, we do want to structure it fairly. I can go ahead and talk a little bit about the divisions and just you can give me your thoughts. But and
will there be any pineapple inspired team names or / jerseys?
God, I hope so.
Come on, people. Come on, America.
Bring it on, guys.
This is the Dream Team doubles. That's my dream.
Dream on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dream hard.
Yeah.
Dream big. Be the dream. But divisions we'll have open women, open masters. So we've got something for the age protected players. We've also got something for women that want to, like if we've got teams of women, there's divisions for for those 3 professional groupings.
Right.
And on the amateur field, we've got amateur women, and mixed.
Boom.
So we figure a mixed division, if you want to get technical about it, I'll allow like an adult and a kid, a guy and a girl.
Yeah.
I think once you get to mixing teams in those ways, it kind of is only fair to mix it up in an amateur to call it an amateur competitive
Right.
field. So
Right.
if you are a man and a woman and you're both pretty good at disc golf and you want to be a team, then sign up for the open division.
Yeah.
And that men and women, teams consisting of men and women can play in the open division for this. So points, the one thing that you'll want to know, this is kind of similar to how we structure with the bag tag series. If you have accumulated points in one division, you can't move to another division and take those points with you. Points start over in another division. So that's going to be the same thing here. And in addition, because this is doubles, you only accumulate points if it's the same two players. So if you change partners mid-tour, then...
First comment.
Yep, then you start back over under that team name. Accumulating points. So
What if you come back to the team?
That's if that same team comes back to the next event, then a
lot of emotions after that first one. It was a close loss, and then they
we almost broke up,
and then
we're getting the band back together. Nice. But yeah, so we don't need to get too far into the weeds talking about the finer points of this, because I will be making the flyer has all of the details. I'll be opening this up in the podcast group page for discussion, and we are going to be doing frequent, regular episodes of the podcast again. So this is something that we can continue a conversation on in perpetuity.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
So yes, we're in it for the funsies. Dream Team Dubs Tour. Look out for the announcement. All that'll be going to Facebook.
Is it Dubs with an S or a Z?
It's S. Okay. I'm not going full.
Okay.
Full.
Because Independence
gangster.
Dubs. I remember there was.
Yeah.
We had to go back to the Z because we had done a stamp without it, and Alpo was like, "What the hell? It's Dubs with a Z, man." So that's
definitely something you would be concerned about.
Yeah, exactly.
But so then the other big thing I've got going on, I mean, a lot of big things, but the two things that are going to be going on throughout the season this year are the Dream Team Dubs Tour, and also Philip Dawson and I are teaming up to start an Dogwood bag tag series.
Oh,
yep.
Man.
So you guys are all aware, or most of you are probably aware, that every Sunday, Philip hosts Sunday. Every Sunday, depending on the season, it starts either at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. But right now, it's starting at 1. There's a tag round at Dogwood for Dogwood tags. We have had Dogwood bag tags for the last several years. And we are going to this year as well. New tags are already here. Shout out to Chris Denton, who is printing these tags up for us. He's doing a phenomenal job. He's also the one who printed up the new awesome T-signs we've got at Dogwood. So
shout out.
Yeah, big shout out to Chris Denton. I've been referring to him as the artisan. But he's doing all sorts of cool stuff. We've got a bunch of merch that's going to be coming for Dogwood. Krista Gilly has been making some T-shirts that are really cool. They have the keyhole logo on them, and then Dogwood Disc Golf Course the way it appears on the sign at the front.
Right.
So yeah, coffee
and
mugs,
support
T-shirts,
Dogwood.
and all of this is to support.
Always, it's one of those courses that it's if you can get one of these things, you're just. I know Philip, just give him a 20. After you play. I know it's tough with taking donations, but he does a ton of work out there, and he hosts a lot, and he always, and his crew and his family, they'll just start cooking up burgers.
Yeah.
Like last time we were there, and I'm talking about 100 burgers, not just 10 burgers. Like and so support Dogwood.
Yeah, and this is one of the main motivations behind doing this series is to create something, now that I have a little bit more bandwidth and time and energy back, is to do something, because Dogwood has always been my home. It's always had my heart. That place has always been very special to me, and Philip and Tasha are very dear to me. So, the obvious place for me to start diverting some attention is back to Dogwood.
Right.
And the difficult thing about raising money for the course, because as you mentioned, like Philip and Tasha, they lose the farm every time we have an event because they're so generous. And like I know at Ogween last year and just this past October, I think they spent around $2,000 on food and different things that was given out freely to everybody that was there. And so
I mean, just trash organization,
right?
Like they have to have dumpsters,
pay for porta potties. And so like the club, and thank you and everybody else at MCDG for their support, because that was part of Music City Disc Golf sponsorship. They take care of one of the porta potties. Dogwood takes care of the other one. We use the Music City Disc Golf account to order the players pack discs and all that stuff, and then we were able to work out some creative finagling to make a donation back to Dogwood after the event to kind of lessen the impact of all of those expenses. But the other thing there is because Philip and Tasha are so generous, it's also very difficult to show them the support that they need because they want so badly for that place to stay free and open to everybody all the time.
Right.
And, you know, and I've had this conversation with Philip many, many times throughout the years in trying to express to him that the community wants to support the course. The community wants to help him because we do love them. We are grateful for what they're doing. So this is going to be kind of a structured opportunity for people to kind of give back to the course
for just $1 a day.
Right. Philip is kind of getting to the point now where he's willing to accept some money being raised for the course fund if we're not just taking handouts or forcing people to pay to use the property. So we're going to get creative. Chris and I and Krista and others are coming up with ways to get some cool swag and merchandise to have available at the course for everybody to buy. And we're going to run the series. And so some money is going to come back to the course through this. I will be deducting from every entry for the course fund specifically. So again, this is going to be 8 events running throughout the year with a final.
Yeah.
The point system is going to be pretty much mirrored to what the Dream Team Dubs Tour is. And that'll all be detailed in my announcement posts. But the first event in the Dogwood Bag Tag Series is going to be on February 20th.
Boom.
These are all going to be on Sundays, and these are all going to start at high noon. So...
high noon.
And so stay tuned for more details about divisions on that, entry fees, point system, all that stuff. I've got it ready to shoot, and I will be posting that up here within the next day or two. The idea here was to get registration for the first doubles event open by this Wednesday, so day after tomorrow, because it is a different day. Time warps in the Sapphire Lounge, but I'm still getting some ducks in a row. So I will at least be announcing this week, even if I don't open registration until next week. We'll figure all that out.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go down to Memphis and work on the inventory and the RV and stuff with J-Ray this past weekend, and then the apocalypse happened, so I'm going tomorrow.
Yeah, it's one of those. I understand the postponing of, moving around. There's a lot of things opening up. I mean, this month everything's happening. Disc golf kicks off earlier every year. You have to get your schedule. Now with the PDGA, like the sanctioning, by November 1st, you better have your schedule because dates start filling up on November 1st. I mean, even before like A tiers, but I'm talking about B and C tiers and unsanctioned. And another thing to take into consideration now too is that if you're a diligent tournament director and promoter, it's not just the PDGA that you're contending with because we run a high volume of unsanctioned stuff. You got to check with all the other promoters in the area and make sure that you're avoiding overlap where you can. Yeah.
Just out of courtesy.
Right. You can't, we're at the point of having multiple things on a weekend or things where you have to make a decision which tournament I'm going to play. And my message to tournament directors is that's okay. That's going to happen. You try to do your best to avoid scheduling conflicts, get your schedule out as early as possible, but that's going to happen. And it's competition as well. So your event, you may have to tailor it to a certain audience or do something different to get people to come to your tournament. Yeah. I mean, we've had a lot of where things, things fill up, but at the same time, it's one of those where there's going to be more events, and eventually it's going to come down to where you can accommodate, a schedule change or, events that we've always had this event at this time of year. I mean, that's a big thing. Like our schedule was kind of inverted this year, but it's a new challenge. We're going to roll with it. And people are still excited about disc golf. There's a lot of new people in disc golf, and there's going to be, if some part of the audience is not wanting to go to that event anymore, there's going to be a new part of that audience.
Yeah.
New and it's going to change who comes to your event, and your event may change a little bit.
Yeah,
of who goes to, but that's okay as well.
Well, and I think it's everybody. I mean, you look at it like the two sides of a coin. You have to give and take a little bit. I mean, on one hand, what's in a date? You know what I mean? Like if somebody, if for whatever reason, it's strongly suggested that you go to a different date for an event that you've been running for 5 to 10 years. I mean, other than the fact that sentimentally and historically it's existed in a certain time of the year or on a certain date. I mean, unless it's a memorial tournament and it's structured around a significant date like that, there's very few reasons I can think of to really, really glom onto a date. Because much like the fact that there's plenty of disc golfers to go around for all these events, clearly everything's filling up.
Right.
And much like that, it's there's plenty of disc golfers to go around where two events within the same area on the same weekend are both should not have any trouble filling up unless there's other things at play.
Right.
So I think at the same time, though, when you're looking at potential overlap and conflict, I think it's important to be willing to look at the while you want to be a little protective of your date, and there's logistical reasons for that too. You also want to be flexible so that you're working with everybody. It makes it easier for everybody to operate, because most of the time there is an easy solution to those kind of conflicts where it's like you can either change the start time of the event. You can move it from morning to afternoon or vice versa, or you can go to Saturday rather than Sunday or vice versa. Or maybe one weekend in after or before, maybe there's another event going on, and so you would overlook that weekend, but maybe the conflict with that event on that weekend would be lesser than the conflict that you're looking at with this. So, I mean, you always want to be open to all options, be willing to entertain every possible solution, but also, I mean, like I said, it's a give and a take. It's a balance. So I'm also going to be doing a handful of other things. I will be leaving Nashville for certain things, but it's just going to be there and back. I'm not going to be out on the road for a significant portion of the year consistently. So I'll be working with John Lynn and the Dixon Disc Golf Club on March. I want to make sure of this before I say it, because there was a switch in the date and I keep going back to the wrong one.
Is there a more fitting Captain America nickname?
Absolutely
than
not.
John Lynn?
Absolutely
I mean,
not.
his socks.
It fits.
But his the way he carries himself and he plays disc golf, it fits.
Yeah.
It fits. And now he's adding into, he's been playing a lot, but now he's jumping into the running events and, running, because isn't he he's the president of Dixon Disc Golf?
He is.
He's stepping up.
So, this is going to be on Sunday, March 20th. I remember because I changed it because I hadn't been thinking about Sarah's Grit and Grace mixed doubles at Dogwood on the 19th. So the Dixon Disc Golf Classic is going to be a C tier at Buckner Park for now. It's going to be we'll probably do a 2-round, 1-day C tier at Buckner Park. And
Monster.
Yeah, the idea here is we all know Dixon doesn't get a whole lot of action.
Yeah.
One, because it's the disc golf community there has never really had an opportunity to explode the way it has in other places, just because the one course they have there is intended for advanced golfers.
Yeah.
So that's changing. There's a new course in development in Dixon, very close to Buckner Park. So in the near future, we will be able to have bigger events with multiple courses. It's going to be at an area that's now going to be called Hensley Park. It's a former country club.
Right.
So 5 minutes away from Buckner Park. So the opportunity to do bigger events with more than one course and build the community in Dixon is on the table. John and everybody in Dixon is super motivated, and they're very capable. They've been pulling in sponsorships for their club and coming up with creative ways to generate some more buzz. So, they've got Drive Disc Golf, which makes some really awesome retrievers. You guys support them, support Dixon Disc Golf. But so we're going to run a C tier called the Dixon Disc Golf Classic. The idea here, too, is to create an event much like we do with our C tiers and stuff, where every one of our mainstay courses has, hopefully at one point, will have its own standalone event that can continue on into the future. And so maybe one day the Dixon Disc Golf Classic will have A tier status, and it can be that signature flagship event for that club. Right. So I'm working with them really closely on that, and we're already securing sponsorship. Dynamic Disc is going to be the title sponsor of the event. They're going to help. Derek's helping me set up players packs and stuff. So that's a big one that's coming up pretty soon in March. I'm also going to be going to Memphis to run the 40th annual Dogwood Classic in May. I believe it starts on May 8th, that weekend.
That's been running for a couple of years.
Yeah, 40th annual. It's really special to me. I'm very honored to have been asked to do it, because
Have you played in it?
I don't know that I've played in the Dogwood. I've been there for it.
You've been a part of it.
But I've been there for it. I used to go down for a handful of ones in Memphis, the Lee Naquin and me and Clint and others all the time, because Bud Hill's amazing, and that's where my bro J Ray's at when he's around. So but this is one of those things. It's so special to that community. It's the backbone of their disc golf history, and this is a good time to mention in case anybody in Memphis watches this, the idea here, and it's been agreed upon by Danny Daniels and us, Callie McMorrin, J. Ray, the people that have been in leadership of the event for the last few years, that in order to continue a legacy of prestige, this will be a PDGA sanctioned event. Yeah, it's prestige worldwide.
Investors, possibly you.
Hit me
Sponsors, possibly you.
Emails in the scrolling text. So this is the thing. The disc golf community in and around Memphis has always had kind of a tenuous relationship with the PDGA. The Southern Nationals were formed out of that area in the Deep South, and that was all kind of to get away from the organization that the PDGA was implementing and on certain things. And you know how I feel like rising tide raises all ships. There's a place for everything. But for the Dogwood to continue into the future to be what it has been for the last 40 years, it will be a PDGA sanctioned event. And it was originally sanctioned for 2022 to be a B tier. Of course, at the time, we weren't sure who was going to run it. I think at one point it had defaulted to J. Ray, and then Callie had taken it last year, but they were both going to be gone, and so I was asked to do it. Yep. And Steve Cross, our amazing state coordinator.
Oh, shout out to Steve Cross. Dude.
Shout out to Steve
juggling
Cross.
So many event things in Tennessee.
Yeah, he helps us out with a lot, and he's doing his job really well.
Yep.
And he's also a Memphis local, so this event is important to him, and he had actually paid to sanction it as a B tier because he knew that was the plan, and we weren't sure who was going to run it. So now, with the rules changes that we'll talk a little bit about, you do have to be PDGA current to play in a B tier or above. Ooh. And we were concerned, everybody involved was a little concerned that telling everybody, hey, to play in your most significant event of the year, you now have to pay for your PDGA membership, and it felt like it was a little bit late notice to make that announcement. And we know that a lot of those players there are not PDGA current, and so they probably aren't aware of the rules change. Yeah. So what we have made the decision to downgrade the sanctioning level to a C tier so that you still can pay the $10 non-current fee and compete in the Dogwood Classic in the 40th annual installment. But in all promotional materials and opportunities, we will be very clearly pointing to the fact that you will need to be PDGA current to play this event in the future because starting next year, it will be a B tier.
And if you want to make money on this event with C tier.
Oh, yes. Good point.
If you're a pro.
Yeah. So another thing, I don't know if it has been highlighted as much as some of the other changes to the PDGA rules and competition manual because there were a lot, and a lot of them were pretty significant and required further deliberation. So this is also in effect this year, 2022, is even in a C tier where you are allowed to pay the $10 non-current fee and compete. If you are playing in a professional division and you have never been a PDGA member, you do not have a PDGA number, you cannot accept cash in payout. You also cannot accept a voucher or merchandise payout in lieu of cash. What will happen is for all other purposes but payout, everything will continue with your name in that. Say you got second place. Yeah. But the payout for second place will drop down and everything below it will drop down consistently below that. That's how I understand the rules. So while saying, we move this down to a C tier so you can come compete if you're not PDGA current. Right. If you do not have a PDGA number and you intend to play the Dogwood this year, you should go ahead and sign up for the PDGA, at least if you're playing in a professional division, because we don't want to have that unfortunate conversation during the awards ceremony. No, you're not getting paid.
You don't get any money.
No, you don't get any money. No. So that's another big one, the Dogwood Classic. And then I've already sanctioned it. I'm pulling the trigger. I went back and forth on it if it was the right year to do it. Being that it's already starting, but July 9th and 10th, I am going to run the Music City Masters, the first of what I hope will be many, and it's going to be a Pro and B tier this year, so age-protected divisions on both sides of the field.
B tier out the gate.
Yep, and we're going to play Cedar Hill and Seven Oaks. And a couple things here. I do want to use more than just those two courses. I'm starting with those two for the first year because those are our two most popular, best courses. So
ready to go at a moment's notice too.
Yeah, and the course captains and the groups that take care of these courses are on point. So no brainer. And I've already talked to those guys and they're on board with it too. Nice. The one unfortunate thing is that it's the week before Masters Worlds in Peoria, Illinois. Yep. So this is going to make it hard for any Masters Division players that are planning on traveling to Masters Worlds, because I know a lot of you guys are going to be planning on going the weekend before, so you have ample practice time.
Yeah.
And I get that, and I am apologetic. I was trying to say I apologize, if it do please the court. I apologize for that difficulty in the scheduling. I hope that you guys will join me in appreciating the fact that this is just a step towards creating another event that showcases Masters in our area, and that will continue in perpetuity. And you know, you have to, events are hard to come by, or dates are hard to come by these days. Yeah. So it's like, I looked at all these different weekends, and the rest of my schedule is developing. I'm getting requests to go other places.
Yeah.
So it had to work where it could work this year. I hope that it's awesome for the people that are able to play it. It is going to be awesome for anybody that's able to be there. You should, because we just talked about it. Yeah.
Going to be Masters.
You and Marcus could play.
I'm going to play a lot of MPO.
Yeah.
But eligible.
But you can play a Masters event.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I also want to take another opportunity. There's a lot to thank this guy for, but J-Ray, once again, right out of the gate, no questions asked, has pledged Grassroots Disc Golf as the title sponsor for the inaugural Music City Masters. So
big pickup.
Yeah. And you know, J-Ray's been running that company. That's how he got his start. He organized all the stuff in Memphis. And so he's got a long history of successful promotion under that umbrella, and you know, it's just he's boys. That's boys.
I'd like to take a moment to recognize the Memphis Grizzlies on their season so far this year.
Yeah,
Ja Morant is a legitimate NBA MVP candidate, and if you don't know, just start watching a couple games. They've had a stretch of facing some of the top NBA talent, Brooklyn, Lakers twice, and he's dominating. So check out the Grizzle.
Sports ball. Break for sports ball. So
that was for Wes Beavis. County Disc Golf.
So yeah, I got a couple other things on the plate that will be coming out. Obviously, I am going to run the Bell Witch Open as a part of Ogween 2022, and we've got big plans for that. Unfortunately, just the way it has worked over the last couple years. Speaking of being forced to take a certain date that might be unfortunate, I've had to run the Music City Open on my wedding anniversary the last couple of years.
Yeah,
and then moving from summer to September, we've got Ogween, our second biggest event of the year, right after that. You know, when we had stopped having a bag tag in the same month as the MCO because it just spread us too thin.
Yeah, it was too much.
There's the same situation now, but it's not a bag tag. It's like the second biggest event. So that's been unfortunate and kind of frustrating to have to deal with and get around. But not the case this year. MCO is moving to April, which we'll talk about here in a second, because this is one of my last things here. But and I want to turn it over to you because there's big Music City Disc Golf news also. But yeah, so we're gonna have plenty of time to you know, Alan and I will be able to sit down and really get our ducks in a row. There might be some big changes this year.
Whoa.
I mean, when has there not been? But
there's going to be some crazy rules. Oh wait, that's
yeah. I mean, Voodoo Doves might be totally changing into something else, or at least we might be doing something in place of Voodoo Doves. I don't know. There's a lot of crazy stuff that we're discussing right now. So we'll have Alan on the show to talk about it once he and I have had more of a chance to kind of talk about it. But yeah, big things are coming. One thing I can put out there, I have been talking to John Freitas and the guys at Made First.
Yeah,
they've sponsored a lot of our stuff last year, and the biggest hit, the most epic thing that happened was at Music City Open the last day at Mill Ridge. They erected a gigantic stage with a giant Music City Open logo and a giant actual picture frame just scaled up in size so you could climb up in it and get your picture taken.
Yeah.
So
then they turned that out into the Bag Tag Championship finale. We kind of got a little bit different graphic, and they came over and set it up out of the goodness of their heart.
Yeah.
Donating. So,
and these guys, the entire crew is disc golfers. Yeah, Jonathan Hamill and Made First. Big shout out and thanks to those guys because they've
Corey Houston.
That was the one guy I talked to a lot that I can't ever remember his name. But yeah, so I've been talking to them because the whole idea behind Ogween has always been to take that super awesome, fun novelty course or super awesome course with novelty elements and it just lends itself to this, but build a haunted house out of it that you could play disc golf in. And the only way logistically up to this point that it was even remotely possible or feasible to do it was to make other people do the decoration. And so it's built into the whole sponsorship. Right. And that's always been the idea behind it. But these guys, they have unlimited capability. They've got a warehouse full of props they've built over the years, stuff that we could use at the drop of a hat. And they are all disc golfers, and they just want to make things more special. They just opened up a satellite office in Los Angeles. Yeah. Like that's where your satellite office is. You're doing all right. Yeah. How many 5-time KC Pro rocks did Jonathan Hamill throw in the lake at Mill Ridge? Oh, it's okay. I got another one. Exactly. That's only $800. It's whatever. Yeah. So yeah, big things coming. I'm talking to Stephen Waits up in Evansville, Indiana, and Southern Indiana. Those guys up there, they're putting on Am Worlds this year in June, and Steven's a great guy. We've had him on the podcast before. Yep. So I'm going to be going up there to join him for a C tier in March. I don't have the date in front of me, but I'll be posting about that too. Evansville's totally doable from here, you guys. It's only like 4 hours away or something like that. It's just on the other side of Louisville. Yep. So that's going to be fun. I'm going out there in March, and then I was just talking to Morgan Long out in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Yeah. And I will be going out there the September 9th and 10th. I say we. Justin's going to be helping me for a lot of this. And possibly Chris might be going with us too. Yeah. But so B tier in Spartanburg at Pipeline. Now, this is special to me. I don't know if Pipeline... I don't know much about it, but... I don't know if Pipeline Disc Golf Course is as noteworthy to everybody as it is to me, but it's always been on my radar. And one of the reasons for that might be that Andrew Maley, former financial officer of Music City Disc Golf, shout out. His family's from Spartanburg area, Greenville, Spartanburg. And so that's the course that was like his big home course when he was in Spartanburg, and him and his friends played there. Yeah. And I've been down to South Carolina. My aunt lived down there for a while, so I would go there for every Thanksgiving. South Kakalaki. And I would play disc golf when I was down there. I would go to Trails in Anderson, South Carolina. I would go to Grand Central Station just outside of Clemson. Yep. Never made it to Pipeline. So kind of full circle. Ricky Wysocki from Spartanburg or from somewhere in South? No, he's from a little further north, I think. Hills. I feel like I've announced it I want to say he's right around where Winthrop is. From such and such, South Carolina. Ricky Wysocki. Yeah. Yeah, it's the same area. I mean, Carolina is Carolina. It's not that far away from Carolina. It's like Emporia. Everything's 5 minutes away. Everything's near Charlotte, right? North Carolina, right? So, however, I think that about wraps up all my big announcements. Thank you once again to Dynamic Disc, my sponsor. Thank you to J Ray for making all of it possible. I'm really excited for this year. I think big awesome things is gonna be the theme. Rainbows and sunshine. Boom. But last night and this morning, Music City Disc Golf dropped a bunch of new information. Registration is now open for your 2022 Music City Disc Golf membership. Mm-hmm. Registration for the first bag tag event is now open, correct? Yes. So and talk about big changes. There's some big changes coming. Who better to talk about them than you? One big thing. First event, E1, no longer at Seven Oaks, moving to Two Rivers. Right. I know a lot of the reasons for that, but let's hear it from the president himself. We had heard a lot about, because what we want to do is have Seven Oaks have the 28 to 30 hole layout, depending on which holes we can do. And we want to have as many people be able to play that layout. And the weather's always uncooperative, we could say, at the beginning of the year. And so we are trying to adapt the schedule because several events were moving, and we wanted to adapt the schedule. So we wanted Seven Oaks in the longest time of the year and near when the summer solstice at Seven Oaks Summer Solstice will also be played in the same month. So you can kind of get used to playing that course. It'll be a little bit drier, so it's actually going to be in June. So the Welcome Back Reunion E1, amateurs are going to be on Saturday, February 5th. Pros are going to be on Sunday, February 6th. And all the rest of the events are going to be just on Sundays,
But the first event, we have the most people, and we typically have the least daylight. So that's one of the reasons for the changes. And you'll also see several other changes. You can look to see our full schedule. But for example, White House Bag Tag is the day after Independence Dubs. So they're going to be in the same, and that's when it's hottest at the time of the year. White House is a lot of wooded holes, except the homies, hole 1 and hole 18, hole 19.
And 19,
yeah, exactly. Shout out to Kirby and Company.
Hell yeah, always.
And Dogwood is the second event, and Naval Hill is near the end of the year, so it's not as hot. You know, climbing those hills, and July 4th is usually when we do Naval Hill. So, and we alternate Triple Creek and Sanders Ferry. So this year we'll be at Triple Creek. So shout out to the Triple Creek crew, DJ Wicks, Case and Newton, all those guys. And it's the schedule. The schedule is already out there, and I was looking today at checking how many people we can have in each. You know, like what's our daylight, and I looked at one, and we can tee off at like 4:30 and have like 212 people at some of these events. But those will fill up.
Yeah, absolutely. We're at that point. And what I do really like, one of the
We're trying
changes,
things.
Yeah, one of the changes that I do really like is we were always in kind of a catch-22 impasse with the Sanders Ferry versus Triple Creek debate. And the bottom line is both of them are kind of far out of the way. Both of them are awesome courses that we all love, and we want to play them both. Unfortunately, as I just kind of talked about, when it became necessary to not do a bag tag in the same month as MCO, that limits the calendar more down to 8 regular series events.
8 events.
So
championship and a banquet.
And then the banquet, So that's, it was always like we were kind of I was always trying to look at different strategic points to kind of figure out what the best thing to do was, and then Triple Creek was looking at some big changes to the property, and the Sanders Ferry was in the middle of replacing baskets. But the idea of alternating, I think that's great.
And absence makes the heart grow fonder.
True.
So it's one of those where we haven't been to Triple Creek in a while, but also I know there's a lot more events going on at Sanders Ferry, and I'm sure at Triple Creek. They're got their own leagues and things, and jumping up there. So it's weeklies. So it's going to be there's each course. I feel like the course crew has gotten bigger over the past 2 years, just as the increase in disc golf, and we've got a lot of people dedicated, and that's awesome. Keep running those weeklies. That's the lifeblood of a lot of these courses.
It really is, and that was a start
because we see that every year. We go to those courses and we're like, man, I haven't been here in a while, and we see some awesome changes.
There were 2 big motivations, according to my limited understanding of the founding of Music City Disc Golf in its current iteration. There were 2 big motivations behind it, and one was the fragmented nature of the community here. It was like every course had a club, and it was like they all kind of did their own thing. So that one, it limits the amount of exposure to the course. There's not as many big events. It limits the resources of the course because there's not as many people invested in taking care of it and keeping it up to standards and stuff like that. So the motivation behind the way the club exists was one to kind of go on tour, bring all of those course crews together. Because now you're bringing resources to the course. You're bringing at least one time a year, you're bringing attention and action to the course. So you have to make some improvements and do some upkeep to get it up to those standards. It was a way of putting more love back into the courses and creating more love by bringing everybody together. And we've been highly succuseful in that, thanks to all the people that have been in leadership of the club. And that idea continues. That's the overarching goal.
And sometimes we find something like a bridge or a T-pad that needs to be replaced, and we can do that before that event. And then also it helps us because the community comes through, and then we see what are our big end of the year course improvement projects. Which I think one of them is course signage at Seven Oaks, Cedar Hill, and Naval Hill. So that's kind of one of our course projects we're looking at for this year. So I know the T signs, trying to have, but it's a big investment. So it's one of those things where also we have a team of 13 with board members, and
another big change.
So it's another big change. So you're going to see a lot of new faces. and not new places, or we've been to the same, but it's one of those things where one of the things about being on the board is also learning how to help run events and how to run events. And so once you go through being on the board, you can run events by yourself. And so a lot of times the people that have helped run events before, we're teaching the next people, or you've helped do this at one event, let's teach you to do this at that event. And so, be willing to work with us. We're got some new people that are learning the ropes, but also they've already been involved in the community. And so, and we're always looking for more help at Music City Disc Golf. You do not have to be on the board to help out with an event. So if you want to help out, contact one of the board members and we'll help you. Maybe you say, I want to come 2 hours early to help, start tee times or get people signed up for UDisc while waiting on my tee time, and then I'll play or help set up. So we're always looking for volunteers. If you have a project idea for a course improvement project, bring it to us. We can get you on one of the board meetings, and we have that calendar listed out. We'll continue to send that out as well.
Yep. And you guys are doing a killer job, man. I know, and I think
we have a couple new experiments this year.
Yeah, and this is great. I mean, because the whole point of the club is to be an organization run by the members of the club. Like, it is, the club belongs to the members, not to the board members.
No.
The board members are club members.
Yeah.
It's just, the people that serve on the board have an interest and a passion and a motivation to give back and help make everything better.
Yeah.
And that's how it works, guys. And we were talking about this on our way to the studio today. By equipping and educating every member of the board to become autonomous, fully functioning, independent tournament directors and promoters, by the time they're no longer serving on the board of directors, well, they go out back into the community as a fully equipped, educated, experienced tournament director and promoter, and that just increases the resources available to our community, and it will raise the global standard of everything in our area.
And I can't believe I forgot to mention this, but this is the 10th year anniversary of Music City Disc Golf, established in 2012.
Yep.
So everybody that's been a member, even if you're not a current member, or helped start it, it's still lasting. And that's because of the members. It's not because of the board members.
Yeah.
It's because of the members, because we rely on the membership to help out, make suggestions, help changes, money. I mean, we need money for membership to help do course projects and membership benefits. And so it's also one of those things where I always mention Shane Klein, the head accountant of Dynamic Disc, started as a financial officer for Music City Disc Golf.
One of the founding members.
But there's stories of, look at so many people who've been on it, and now, I mean, look at what you're launching, and not that you've had other events that you've done, but it's, Alpo and the Voodoo Dubs, and, you would there's so many events, and we get a lot of things from other clubs around the country. We inspire and help, a lot of the clubs, like how people contact the Music City Disc Golf a lot to ask questions about, I saw you run this, or you did this successfully. And so there's always the balance of doing the stuff that we do every year, running high quality events, being passionate about the events, but also we have to try a couple things new each year to kind of push, or, with the rules like digital. I mean, think about the past 2 years, how much technology we've added into our operations. And always when we push out these new technologies, it changes things a little bit. You're like, oh, wait, a change. But, kind of go in with it and try it out.
Figuring out what works, figure out what doesn't. Everything changes.
There's going to be some
time.
things that don't work as well, and we're going to have to change back or do something different next year. But that's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay.
I mean, I'm probably going to mangle the pronunciation of this, but Heraclitus, I think, was a Roman poet or philosopher that said, "No man steps in the same river twice, because it's not the same river and he's not the same man." So things change over time. You got to keep poking holes in it, figuring out where you have room to grow, where you need to cut back. And you touched on something that, if I can pull it back into my mind here,
we have a mind meld anyway.
Yeah,
we got a couple neurons in each other's brains. So.
Shared neuron philosophy.
Yeah.
But the proof is in the pudding, because you look at the people that were the founding members of this club. Shane Klein, he's now the head accountant at Dynamic Discs. Mike Bowes, who's epic and legendary for all sorts of reasons. But the driving range and mini course that everybody loves in Mount Juliet, that he led the charge on that. You look at, now everybody knows about the Mike Lane Classic. I think a lot of our new our new club members don't really know about anything about Mike Lane, but he was one of the founding board members.
Yeah.
Alpo, who, created Voodoo Dubs and has run so many wildly successful. And I mean, in my opinion, he was my mentor. And so to me, he's always going to be the greatest president of this club. Cause I was just trying to be like him when I grew up, but it's this cyclical thing that happens. And we were talking about this earlier too. It's investing into the spirit and the legacy and the history of the club is what's going to keep it all together and keep us from repeating the failed experiments of the past. And that spirit is evident in the motivations of our leadership. I remember early last year, or even maybe the year before, when Ruthie was really first starting to get real dug in and involved. We had a conversation where she was having a hard time staying up with keeping up with promoting her stuff online and making social media posts and making videos and stuff like that. And she mentioned to me that it just kind of felt gross, like shameless self-promotion. And that made me think, and I'll always remember this because when I first started doing the live videos on Facebook, once that became a thing, when we started the podcast, the McCaskill Eye, it always felt like that to me too. I was it wasn't my motivation, but it felt like that was what I was doing almost, or what it would be perceived as. And there were people that said, hey, nobody cares about the live videos. But by putting out the information and by showing people everywhere what we're doing, you're not only going to attract more people to help with what you're doing, but you're going to inspire people elsewhere to do the same thing or do a similar thing in the same way. And what Dr. Hoy mentioned earlier is super true. It might sound far-fetched, but the reach that what we have done here as a club, we have inspired and helped with the operations of clubs all over the place. The years that I served on the board of directors, there were countless times people from different areas of the country reached out to me in an email or a Facebook message to ask how we did our points for our bag tag series or to ask about this and this. And that always led to these really awesome conversations and new friendships. And me saying, dude, this is how we do it. It's worked for us. So you're more than welcome to do it this way. Build around it. Find ways to tailor it and customize it.
And we've gotten ideas where, going to Dynamic Disc Open, I've gotten a lot of ideas to see how things are run on just a completely different scale, and the town's smaller, and there's, different, how the town buy in because it's a smaller town, and how many people descend on that, and how they just organize all those people that play disc golf. But also, we get a lot of things where people go on vacation, say to Florida, and they play in a local weekly, and then they come back and they're like, hey, man, they did this with the CTPs or this with the A spot. And it's something I haven't even thought of.
Yeah.
Things where you think of how many times we've had, what are the CTP, what are the A spot? Just basic conversations, and there's new ways of doing things. And so that, and also I like the terms people call Clint or Mulligan Man or, Mully Man, different things just people call, if you're one person in the doubles. Callie. And so
you'll hear Freddie thrown around at 7
Yeah, exactly. So it's interesting to see. And a lot of these where it's also we're introducing new technology. We always have, that's always a debate in every field of introducing, not having too much technology, and keeping it a fun, great experience where we can't take ourselves too seriously.
Yeah.
And I know I've been guilty of that sometimes where it's too all right, we got to get this organized.
Well, you have to rely on the process too.
It's one of those things. And that's what I was also, we had a discussion before the podcast, and Wednesday night tags. That's one of my favorite times of the week because I can have more casual conversations with people playing disc golf, and there can be kind of more long form conversations. And it's not really too hard to run Wednesday night tags. So it's a lot of, you have to be there, but you can be thinking about other things and getting ideas.
Yeah.
And so having that, and then playing more disc golf. That's one of my things this year, is that I need to continue playing disc golf, because that's one of the things that brought us all together. But at the same time, it's not all about running events, enjoying disc golf and playing disc golf. And if you're playing a casual round, you don't have to keep score.
Yeah.
I used to be so technical about keeping score and putting it on UDisc, but it's more fun.
Well,
I mean, that's a
there's
simple
value
thing,
to doing
but
that in casual rounds too,
exactly.
just to track where your progression
Right.
is at and stuff. So I mean, a little bit of everything. Everything has its place.
Right.
I think, I was we talked a lot earlier about like the whole merger between the PDGA and the DGPT.
Yeah.
And I got into a conversation, not really a conversation, but I got up in the comments on a post on the box with Dixon Jowers on his group page. And somebody had commented asking about some things, and I think somebody that was one of my teammates, Cyrus Watron, had mentioned that he was sad that Beaver State Fling was only going to be a Silver Series event.
Yeah.
And so, of course, the thread kind of went into all the reasons, all the things that have been going on at Milo McIver and all this stuff. And it was an opportunity to kind of just get into a little bit of a discourse about things that we've observed in this process of going from a national tour event to a Silver Series event. And, one of those things that I pointed out was clearly, and it's the wise thing to do, the Disc Golf Pro Tour is trying to create and invest in the evolution of a situation where all of the top level tour events are played on a facility where they have where they know they either have control or reassurance of premium access for spectators, the ability to provide seamless live coverage and media coverage and all that stuff.
Right.
And it's going to be awesome when we get to a point where every tour stop isn't plagued by a different problem where it's either the live is having trouble or something, along those lines. It's going to be awesome to be there, but one of the things that I've always loved about the tour, the way it's existed up to this point, is that every event, you get a little bit of a snapshot into the really unique terrain and culture that each area has to offer. And it's going to be awesome to have events that cater to all these things that are important to disc golf at that level, but it's going to be kind of a bummer if they're all the same or if they all look the same. And, of course, that plays to an assumption that that's the way things are going to be, and we have to wait and see. But, that's that thing where you have to, as things change, it's not comfortable for anybody. No kind of change feels good when it's happening. It's always scary. It's always uncomfortable, but it's necessary. And if you don't make yourself willing to let go a little bit over here and reach up and grab a little bit more over on this end, then you're never going to rise with that tide. You're always going to be tossed by the waves. You know what I mean?
I was thinking of talking about events becoming more uniform and, the ticketing policies, spectator, March Madness.
Yeah.
It used to be everybody's floor, everybody's basketball court looked a little bit differently so you could tell what region they were in. But now it's like the blue and black, and it's every floor has to be set up the same way and say like first round NCAA tournament or second round in the same area and have the same setup and, seating arrangements. And you kind of have that feel like, oh, well, that's this court because it's blue, or this court because it's got the pine trees on it in Oregon. And so but it's more uniform in how the player experience, because those were different. So, and we didn't even know, watching as fans, like what the locker rooms were like, what the hotel accommodations, what the food accommodations. And so you have to kind of look at everything. It's not just what part you look at or as a spectator you look at. There's a lot of different things, and this is giving an opportunity for, it's sometimes there's points where some TDs they've been running long-term events, and then they're going to step down and let somebody else run it, and it will have a different flavor. It will take a little bit different flavor on, and there's going to be things that you like and things that you don't like, but try something new in disc golf this year. Try to think about something in a new way, just a little bit, and see how it goes.
Something I keep pointing to,
and let us know if you like something or don't like something, because
that's
how we get feedback, and we have a lot of ways of getting feedback, and so let us know.
And that's another part of having this podcast and doing stuff like this, is for us to talk in an open format about the things behind the decisions that are being made, because we run, the guys on this show, we run and are involved in a lot of the biggest events in the area, and so it's like we have an insider's perspective that I think a lot of members and players in our events don't ever really get a chance to see us considering. And then also on top of that, you guys can kind of get a glimpse at where our heads are at and where we're trying to push things. And then that gives you a better opportunity to contact us with your input and your feedback. We've got email addresses right up here at the top of the screen. At the very end of the scrolling text, you'll see the podcast email and the club email. So
And
hit
you
us
can
up.
find us on social media too.
There's a trail of breadcrumbs that leads right to us,
And there's a new social media coming out this year with MC.
Good time to mention that
MCDG.
too. Yeah.
It's a Discord server. I'm sure everybody's familiar with it. That's already knows, is in the know. But we're gonna have a private Music City Disc Golf membership Discord server where you can ask questions, get information. It's part of a push to use different ways of getting information out to people, because I think that's where I take a lot of it last year is getting the right information and getting timely information, timely updates. You know, email is a very good thing, but not everybody reads email. Facebook's a good thing. Not everybody has Facebook or wants to go on it, and the algorithms are different. Discord, Instagram. We may even have a text thing where you can sign up. You don't have to be a part of this, but you can join in like a membership newsletter or a text that goes out like registration is now live and things, you know, updates. Traffic is bad because we had a couple bag tags where we had to kind of change. We had to make mass announcements, and we did that through Facebook and kind of sending an email and posting on DG Scene, but it was still trying to get the information out, like take this route, don't take this route. And so we're always trying to get the information out. And, you know, if you're a fan of The Office, send out a wolf. I don't know. It came on like everything. And when the time of that episode aired, you're like, why would you ever need all this? But now it's like, it's everybody needs that wolf where it's like you send out one thing and it gets tweeted out. It goes to Instagram. It goes to TikTok. It goes to Discord. So we're going to be working with that. And so getting the information out to people, that's one of the big things that I don't want anybody to say, I didn't know about that, or I would have helped volunteer, but I didn't know how to sign up.
And
there's always going to be people.
And it's
There's always
going
going to be
be
people that miss things. And so but I also want to have an easy way of members or anybody in the Nashville, you know, or beyond disc golf community to contact me or contact us, because we want to be open and, you know, address things.
Yeah, and I think this is something that has come up on the socials over the last year or two, or always, however you want to look at it, but is, you know, transparency, communication, visibility of information, all that stuff. You know, it's always been a struggle, but it's not something that we've disregarded. It's always something where it's like it's really hard when you have 7 volunteers to not only make the decisions and organize all of the structure of the procedures and everything that we have to do, but then also take all of that information and release it 8 times in 8 different platforms. It's a struggle, and then trying to figure out the best way to double down and maybe invest more heavily into 1 or 2 of them, and which are going to reach the most people, and then it can go word of mouth. It's always a thing. So right now, for your own edification as members of the club, we have discussed everything. And that's, you know, whether it's a newsletter or it's a Discord server or updating the website, you know, it's stuff that we are working on. We're willing to entertain anything. And you know, it obviously has to be limited by the bounds of what we're capable of, but we are genuinely looking for the best way to do it. And it's like this Discord server, like being willing to try new things.
Right.
I personally do not like using Discord. We used it for the podcast for a long time back when it was audio only. We used it for our remote guests.
Right.
And I still don't know how it works. Like, I've had to use it. I've jumped in it for different things.
Shout out to Dylan Hamilton.
Yeah.
And Ruth Miller is going to be our public relations and helping out with a lot of social media and getting information out to people. And so it's going to be, there's going to be a learning curve.
Yeah.
So.
And it's all also about the resources you have available. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have the bandwidth and the energy or the patience to be on the board of directors of the club anymore. But that doesn't mean I can't be a resource to the club.
Right.
I've got experience in journalism and assembling like a publication, you know, and we've talked about that. I'm totally willing to come along and help with something like that. So, and that's also,
you may see a lot of digital players meetings from this very Sapphire
room.
Lounge.
Yeah. And that's the other thing is, like, that's always been a part of the motivation behind doing the podcast is get information out there about what's going on. And, you know, this is always going to be my club. You know what I mean? I'm a member of this club. So I have a vested interest in what's going on. And so, you know, keep coming with those ideas, guys. And if you think you have great ideas and that aren't being utilized, or if you see a problem and you have a way to, an innovative way that you think it could be addressed, bring it to us.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you guys how many times people come to me and tell me that they want to get more involved in events, or they want to get more involved in their local community, and they're asking me how they should do it. Unilaterally, hands down, 100% of the time, my answer is go to your local club, go to your local events, go to your local club, and ask them if you can help. Ask them how you can help. Because I guarantee you they need the help, and that there is, bar none, there is no better way to get an idea of how this stuff works.
Right.
I mean, it's not rocket science, but there is a definite procedure, and there are a lot of hoops to jump through to make things successful. It's a bunch of moving parts that are all connected, and every change affects something else. So the best way to do it is to get hands-on. Get behind the table at an event. Go to the people that are running it.
Right.
They will be grateful for you offering to help. It will improve your tournament experience, and you'll probably make new friends.
And part of that is if you're running an event and somebody offers to help get them something to do. Like, I feel like I'm guilty of this a lot, where like, no, I'll just do it. It's easier for me to do it than to explain 5 minutes, 10 minutes how to do this and how I want it done.
Well, see, and that's what's great about the club.
Like, delegate and, allow people to help out.
Yeah.
So,
but that's what's great about what you guys do, and why, if it's somebody local that's asking me that question, I direct them straight to the next bag tag or whatever next club event they're going to play, and say, go talk to these people and ask how you can help, because that's the reason that Music City Disc Golf events have been so far above and beyond a lot of other events in the area, is just because you have a bigger team for more ideas, more execution, better execution.
Right.
So when we show up and we're setting up for a tournament, you've got one person that's handling getting CTPs ready. You have one person that's handling the side game. You have one person that's over here, but all of it is a part of the whole. And if you show up at one event and you help the person that's running the side game, you learn one part of it. If you show up and you help the person on the CTPs, you learn one part of it. But each part is small enough to where you can help with that, learn about it, and it doesn't derail your tournament as a competitor. I mean, and we, as administrators, build the club structure in a way that is most, accommodating to that kind of idea or strategy. So, get involved in the club. We're also talking about, we were just talking about this before we pushed record tonight, but because we always want the club to be more invested in club decisions, but it's also a struggle to get all the board members to a board meeting, and now we have more board members, and then stay on track and get through the entire agenda, make sure everything's buttoned up. But I was suggesting it might be a good idea to have periodic, like maybe once a quarter, a club meeting where you have a bigger venue. It's less formal. It's more of a Q&A. You have current events that you can kind of discuss,
but it's more of, we're not making decisions as a board. We're answering recently made decisions or future decisions where people can ask questions about them.
Yeah, and then that could also be one more event where us as a community can come together outside of competing against each other at a disc golf tournament and enjoy each other's company and get to know each other better. I think that's always needed too, more of that. And so, this isn't necessarily happening right now. It's something we were just kind of spitballing about earlier. But if you like that idea, send an email to the club, info@musiccitydiscgolf.com. Tell them you heard about something we were talking about on the podcast and you really liked it. If you hear something, say something. Like, if you, you know what I mean? It's kind of like that thing where, like, if I've always kind of said this, if you see a problem and you're willing to point to the problem and draw attention to it, but you're not willing to discuss a possible solution, you've become a part of the problem.
Yeah.
It's the way that we get past this stuff, even if we have differing points of view and disagreements in how the best way to fix it might look.
Right.
The fact that we all continue to talk about it and we're all involved in that conversation, that is what's going to lead us to the best possible solution. Not taking things at face value and making assumptions and starting a movement on social media. It's actually being constructive, approaching the people that are making the decisions, if you're not one of them, and saying, hey, you might not have thought of this, but...
Direct communication.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what this is all about. So you heard it here, folks. We're looking at an over 2-hour episode for our comeback on episode 47. So... we teased a lot about, like, the Mando rule. Of course, Marcus, I think, was queued up to talk about that, and he couldn't make it back for part 2. So, this is all stuff that we'll continue to talk about. And feel free to get a hold of us and let us know any possible topics you'd like us to discuss.
Yeah.
And we've got some cool guests coming up. Like I mentioned, I'm working with John Lynn at Dixon Disc Golf on a C-tier in March. So... very likely we'll be having John on the podcast here very soon to talk about what's going on in Dixon.
Right.
We've been hanging out a lot with our young homie, Cal Brock.
Oh yeah.
And he's got a new sponsorship. He just joined Team Flight Towel.
Yeah.
And he just recently has been making.
He just started a club.
Yeah, and he's starting a club at his school.
Yeah.
Which we're on deck to help with, and Dynamic Disc is also supporting.
Nice.
So we'll also probably have Cal on in the near future.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I can announce this because I think it's going to be announced by tomorrow, which is the earliest I'll have this up. But my homie Nick Duran, who we had on the podcast not too long ago, multiple-time junior world champion, multiple-time junior distance world record holder, just picked. He disappeared from disc golf for a while, like right after he turned 18. Just came back this year, and he just got himself a big new sponsor.
Ooh.
He may be a teammate of mine, kinda. He's going to be joining Team Westside.
Damn.
So we got to have Nick back on to talk about his new sponsor and all of his plans for the year, because I know it's going to be exciting. I'm really looking for this kid to heat it up and do something crazy.
And there is one member of Team Westside that's going to be very busy tonight watching Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
And that is Matty O.
Yeah, Matty
So,
O. Roll Tide, baby. Roll Tide. Shout out to David Griffin and Farm Fresh.
Go Cats.
And everybody else around here that bleeds red.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, I guess everything else that we didn't get to, we'll remember later.
MCO sign-up starting soon. The details are out there.
Yeah, when does that start? Tomorrow? Tonight?
It starts tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central for the Silver Series.
Central. So it'll be open by the time this comes on.
But noon for the amateur and age-protected pros. So,
all right.
A lot of changes. That's just, we'll leave the MCL at that. But
it's just how it goes.
It's going to be an awesome event. It's always an awesome event. It's in April. We broke it into 2 weekends, and it's a true amateur event for AMs, trophy only, no payout, but the competitor pack is bonkers.
Yep.
So, and it's going to be slowly hinted at, but not officially released.
Yeah, you got to get in to see it.
So,
yep, and
come check us out.
It
is Easter weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That was unavoidable with what we were talking about with scheduling, but I think it still can be an awesome experience, and you can still do a lot of your Easter celebrations in Nashville. Bring the family.
Yep. And I know, like we said, change is scary. I know everybody's going to hear a lot of this stuff and freak out about what it might mean and what it might actually look like, but you can't really point to any Music City Open that wasn't drastically different than the year before.
Yeah.
Exactly. But what you can say is that everything that we've done over the last however many years of this event, I think the first one was like in the 90s, but everything has led to the point where we are now in a group of the biggest and most significant disc golf tournaments in the world.
Yes.
We're in that room. We're in that conversation. Music City Open is always going to be special. I mean, you look at it, it's a Silver Series. It's not an Elite Series. Eagle McMahon's got it on his tour schedule.
I promise you all eyeballs will be in Nashville for Music City Open April 1st, 2nd, 3rd.
Yeah, you look at somebody like Eagle McMahon. He's not been at this event before, so he doesn't have a personal attachment or investment to it, but he's got it on his initial tour calendar.
Right.
Which means he's not paying any attention to it because it's a Silver Series event.
Right.
It's on, and other players will be returning that have already announced. Julianna Korver plans on coming back.
Yeah.
Stokely plans on trying to get in. So it's like everybody is including Music City Open in their evaluation and their assessment of what the tour is for this year. So, I think there is somewhat a perceived downgrade in status for the Silver Series as opposed to the Elite Series, but that's not going to be as apparent and as evident as everybody might
It's going to be crazy spectators, exclusive disc, exclusive merchandise. It's going to be on Disc Golf Network. It's going to be covered in post-produced videos, and I know you don't want to miss it.
Yep, I do know that much.
I know you do.
And if you do, something wrong with you.
Yeah,
where
we can
are
watch.
your
We
parents?
can watch the coverage.
Yeah, we can talk about it on Facebook.
You can talk about it on Discord.
Yeah, or on Discord, Reddit. That's the next one. The subreddit.
Yeah. r/Music City.
r/STFUDG 2022. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in for our comeback episode. We're excited to be back at the wheel, and we're excited for everything that 2022 has in store, and we'll be taking you along for the ride with us.
Couldn't have said it better.
Any closing statements?
I'm excited. I mean, it's kind of. I'm just thinking there's going to be a lot of new things and a lot of things, crazy surprises along the way that we can never predict what they're going to be, but we adapt to them and see what happens.
Keep on trucking.
But disc golf, I mean, non-disc golf companies are putting money into disc golf now, which we're reaching a new level of what money is coming in. And that's going to make a lot of new options and a lot of new contracts. We didn't mention that, but who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't think there's anything we could say about all the big sponsorship changes that hasn't already been said on Facebook.
Go on the internet and you'll find some crazy.
Congratulations to Rick and Kona.
Yeah,
for the big contracts. And I mean, super.
I did see the
for
van
Rick.
wrap for Ricky Wysocki. It looks pretty sick.
Pretty fly.
Yeah.
Yep. And congratulations to everybody else. Congratulations to Matty O. Congratulations to everybody that's making big moves. I think, and this is something that we'll definitely be getting into in future episodes, but I mean, the effect of DGPM on the game, on the sport of disc golf.
It's already
easily as influential as the emergence of Prodigy in 2013.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's going to have that big of a change on the structure of the sport. I mean, everybody's a free agent now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the system that sponsorship and all that stuff is built on is going to be wildly different next year, and it's awesome. I'm
interested to see if health insurance is in these contracts.
Oh, it's definitely being discussed.
I'm always like, there's certain things that when it gets to that level, it's like, okay, this is a paying job with insurance and benefits.
Yeah,
you know, that's going to be, and I'm sure it's on the horizon.
At the very least, I think that what is probably going on at DGPM that's not posted on social media is probably the fact that Scans and everybody else at DGPM, I'm sure, are at least having conversations with the people that they are bringing under contract about their options about health insurance. And I think that's been a big thing that you will see probably from the PDGA at some point is a committee, and you're already starting to see it come out a little bit, or at least begin to form in seeds, but a committee or a group within the PDGA that is dedicated to sharing resources with touring players to help them operate themselves as a business,
right?
And as far as taxes and how
to fill out a PDF,
how to do a PDF, or how to fill out a 1099, or how to schedule a tour with logistics in mind, like lodging and all these things. I think that's just a logical next step. I think that teams are going to start having coaching staffs. I think that's the next thing around the corner too, is every company that has a sponsored team, if they're big enough to actually be in contention for main sponsorship like that, manufacturers are probably going to have at least one coach on staff to work with their players to improve areas of their game that they're struggling with. I mean, this is all stuff that's already being discussed. So, but if we don't pick a place to stop, we'll just keep talking.
I guess my final word would be Climo.
Yep. That's
I hear things happening,
dude. I mean, it's an exciting time to be a disc golfer. Yeah, that you have to say that at the very least. So, and I'm here. I'm happy to have been on this wild ride with you, sir.
Hey, it never stops.
Yeah, and I can't imagine the shenanigans and the antics we're going to get to behold in 2022.
That's why I'm just smiling, because I'm just like, I don't know what's
next.
Yeah.
We've given up
I'm here.
We've given up any illusion that we've seen everything. So.
No, definitely not.
You get in trouble making that assumption.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you guys once again for tuning into episode 47. Like, share, please subscribe on YouTube. That will help us more than probably anything else you can do. As soon as we get up to 1,000 subscribers, we get a little bit more wiggle room, and we can actually start bringing in some money to keep this thing going. So. Subscribe in every platform that you're consuming the show on, and let us know what you like, what you don't, and how we can get better.
Peace.
Let the bass kick.